It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
We're all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is my favorite Michael Jackson song.
Not Dirty Diana.
No.
Okay. I thought you would have adjusted to the times.
No, I like...
Mrs. Rossini.
Oh, no. That's funny. I didn't get that for a second. No, this is.
Okay.
This is my favorite Michael Jackson music video, too.
Yeah.
Are you going to see the new successful biopic?
I will absolutely, at some point, maybe, throw it on at my house while I'm doing everything else that matters and not pay attention to it. But Michael Jackson made some real hits.
Are you not a Michael Jackson fan?
No, I love his music is unbelievable. It's no question. He's just one of the great musicians of all time and created some of the greatest pop music ever. And I don't need to know a lot about Michael Jackson, the person, beyond what we already know.
No, see, that's the thing. So I guess the movie cuts all of that out. It just stops at bad and then doesn't go into the Neverland, whatever that was, or doesn't go into any of that stuff. Does a movie hold that responsibility? Does a what is it, by the way?
A biopic.
Yeah. Do they hold that? Controversially, the Queen one, who was it? Sacha Baron Cohen turned down the role of Freddie Mercury because he said they weren't going to tell the real story. Because most of the times with these movies, the people themselves or the estates of the people who have control or have some say over what's going to happen, and they said that painted a really rosy picture of that. But a movie's entertainment, right? So does a movie owe it to its audience to include
everything?
No,
it doesn't. And even if you want to view movies as art doesn't owe you anything. Art gets to stand as whatever art wants to be, which is why I actually am totally in defense of people who are like, yeah, I know Michael was apparently a disgusting person, but I like his music. Well, the art can be separate from the person. I do fully believe that.
I agree with that, too.
I think those two things can coexist or exist separately. But if you want to be offended by it or not like his music as a result, I think that's totally your choice as well. You've got that free will. But I do think I will always know watching this movie or whatever it is that like this is a false presentation of a person.
Now, you happen to be really into Kid Rock's politics, but if you weren't, could you still enjoy Ba with a Ba?
Ba with the Ba.
Could you still get down with that?
Yeah. If I protested his thoughts, would I still like Ba with the Ba? And the answer is yes, because Ba with the Ba.
It's amazing.
How can you not?
What was the name of his friend who was always Josie?
The little guy.
Josie?
Yeah, Josie. Yeah. I think he's dead. But I saw somebody make a funny joke online, and funny in quotations. It was like, this is like making a biopic about OJ and ending it after he wins the Heisman. It's like, yeah. No, that's not OJ's story, actually.
It is exactly that. But does the movie owe that? Do they have to like the story of Rudy was not only an inaccurate depiction of how that story actually happened, but then they didn't include anything beyond when they graduated from college. Should they feel that responsibility?
Right. And no, my answer is they don't owe it to anybody.
No, I don't think so.
Because guess what? Somebody else can make a movie about the rest. In fact, there's an entire documentary about Michael Jackson, the disgusting person.
The estate got that scrubbed.
Yeah, what is it? Leaving Neverland or whatever it is. But, if what's his name? Who did I Believe I Can Fly? R. Kelly wants to do a movie of like, look at how I made it to the top. And that's the end of the story.
That's the end of the story.
I guess he can, but the R. Kelly documentary is out too. Like that story will be told. So, I also don't have a problem when somebody retires or passes away or whatever, if someone are like, hey, this is a part of his story. You know, Kirby Puckett, I remember there was some controversy. It was the first time I remember it as a person being like, yeah, they brought up how he beat up his wife or whatever it was. And they're like, yo, you're going to talk about this now, the day he died? It's like, he made these decisions. This is part of his story. He chose to do that. I think that's totally fair, too.
You can still enjoy the Hey song, even though it's Gary Glitter. Which actually has finally made its return to stadiums the past few years. Have you noticed that?
Well, because guys like Christian from Christian's generation, but Christian specifically, is a big Gary Glitter defender.
Well, you got mad at me for playing Diddy the other day.
I didn't get mad. I was just saying, can we still play Diddy?
Yeah, we just asked. And then, honestly, what was your response? I guess we still play Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It was exactly what you said. That was off the air, but...
Which is fine. Yeah, I don't have to agree or endorse or any of that stuff.
Yeah. Or
but
mimic their lifestyle.
I just know that people are bent out of shape that they didn't include any of that stuff in the movie. That they so thoroughly scrubbed all of that. Some people are saying you're not telling the story. It's like, it's a movie. It's a 2-hour movie. I liked the Johnny Cash movie they made because they only picked like 10 years of his life and really focused on it instead of trying to jam everything into a 2-hour movie. Or Bob Dylan. They just tell the story of his conversion to rock. That's it.
Right.
He did a lot of living after that.
Yeah.
Is doing a lot of living.
If your goal on your movie is to try and pretend Michael Jackson was a good person, I think that's disingenuous. But A, not, like you said, the first disingenuous movie that's ever been made. And B, it's not like it's hard now to find out what the true story of this person was.
I don't know how they portray Michael in the movie. I'm sure it's favorable. I'm sure it's his public persona.
Yeah. Yeah. The star.
He had a rough upbringing, too. I wonder
But
how
that's
much
the
of
thing.
that
Yeah,
is
how much
in
of the
there.
context they go into, like, why did we turn this person into a monster? Was it because of how he was brought up, or did he choose to become a monster?
I once randomly started talking with a dude who was one of the founding members of, I think it was United Concerts, but it was the first kind of big concert promoter here. And he was telling us stories about Old Man Joe. Rough. That was a bad dude.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
Because the Jackson 5 had come through and you would get to see it. Anyway, I want to see the movie. Honestly, I'm a Michael Jackson fan.
I will not be going to the theater to see it, just because if I'm going to the theater, I have a finite amount of time to go spend 3 hours at a theater. That's not what I'm going to go watch. But I'm sure at some point I will turn it on in the background of my house.
Real quick, happy 5th birthday to my daughter Maggie.
Shout out.
It is her birthday today. But can I ask you this? I do not watch this show. Before we dive into the hockey, Stranger Things. It's what, an HBO show?
Netflix.
Have you seen it, Christian?
I watched the first 2 seasons and flamed out.
I've seen every episode.
My 5-year-old has a friend that watches it all with Stranger Things with her parents. Which I'm not judging the parents or anything, but I don't know anything about the show, but I'm surprised a 5-year-old can digest it.
Probably can't. But
Wouldn't it be terrifying for a 5-year-old?
A, it is a little scary, and B, there is just like there's a lot of death. There's a lot of, I don't want to say adult themes, but like it's a pretty busy story. I'm sure a 5-year-old has no idea what's going on.
You let your kids watch whatever. That's up to you. I'm not judging. I was just surprised that the 5-year-old would be on board to sit through such a show.
Yeah. Huh? Totally with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm wearing my purple shirt today in honor of my daughter Maggie, who picked this out. We surprised her with a new bike this morning, so it was pretty cool. Pretty cool morning.
Big day.
Big day. Shout out to her. I can't believe that was 5 years ago.
Maybe by next year, no training wheels. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
By the way, you know what still sucks?
Happy birthday, Maggie.
That was nice.
Oh, I like this edition.
Was that authentic? We got a voiceover person to come in and do that?
No, just Google Translate.
Will you have to type it in French first to get it in English?
Yeah. Did you have
Feliz cumpleaños, Maggie.
Oh man, shout out to her. She's excited about her birthday. So real quick. We're of course going to go to Chili's tonight for dinner. It's now becoming a thing. And my 8-year-old said this morning, my other daughter goes, I wonder if Maggie will make Taylor Swift wait this year.
Sassy. After making
Post Malone.
Was that last year?
That was last year.
Nice. I hope so.
Yeah, the server came back to her. She goes, hey, I don't want you to feel any pressure. You guys don't have to leave. You open her gifts. But Post Malone is waiting for your table in the waiting area. It's like, wow. All right.
Wait, I was out at this time last year. That happened?
Yeah, that happened.
Huh, you were not around for this story?
No, I was in Disneyland.
Okay.
No, that happened. We had family dinner for Maggie's birthday, so we were at one of the big tables. And yeah, we're just eating our meal, and the server comes up to us, and she couldn't have been cooler. She was like, "You guys take your time, but just so you know, Post Malone is waiting for you." So we saw him as we were leaving, and my nieces and nephew got like a picture and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, but my daughter kept Post Malone waiting. You stay on ice, Posty. It's Maggie's birthday.
It's her 4th birthday.
Settle down, pal. In all honesty, it appeared that the dude couldn't have been cooler about it.
Every report is he's like a good guy. So
See,
his
like,
biopic better than Michael's.
dude, a scene included in his biopic better be the time he had to wait at Chili's
For a 4-year-old.
for
And
a
did it
4-year-old,
willingly.
and did it willingly.
Michael's renting out Disneyland to close everybody off.
Yeah, right.
Posty's waiting with the rest of us.
So anyway, I wonder if Maggie's going to make Taylor Swift
Somebody.
wait this year. It's
I
got
would love if
she's
Taylor came to Chili's and Holiday or wherever you guys, Fourth South, and
but making Posty chill. That's a high bar.
it's a great story.
It is a great story.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Ben. Any thoughts on the hockey game tonight?
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, this is big. Again, I told you yesterday I enjoy that this is a quicker turnaround. The 2 days off feels bizarrely long, especially for a first round series. I just like the action going. Get these guys back out on the ice. Looked like Cole Bagley had the video. I think Barrett Hayton was out skating on the ice. Now he was kind of doing extra skating by himself, but sounds like he was out of the non-contact jersey, so I wonder if we'll maybe see some more healthy bodies. Obviously very interested to see what happens with J.J. Paterka and if he gets back in this lineup or how Bear decides to change what's going on. But, man, I like talking about playoff series. This is one of the funny things that you and I, in our run together doing the show, which we started, 2021?
Yep.
We got the very last year of Donovan and Rudy, and it was just like such a lousy playoff run where you knew this was just like
It was a lousy year, really.
It was a lousy year. You recognized that this was a dying star that was about to be, collapse in on itself, and it did. And how long did that series last? 5 games? Maybe it was 6 games. I can't remember. Jazz lost at home. So
the young Brunson dominated.
So it must have been game 6. It was a home game because the Jazz, I don't think, had home court advantage in that series. That's the only extended local playoff series you and I have been able to talk about. And I miss, just from a radio standpoint, I like breaking down series on the radio. I like talking about how they grow and change and evolve, and it's actually more interesting than, well, the Mavericks are in town tonight, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers are in town tonight, and then the Bulls are in town, and there's just you just get little pieces that you can break down a little bit. I like getting to know the players on the other team. I like developing the storylines. And now having a quicker back-to-back here where it's just it's about the hockey now. As much as you want to make adjustments, and Bear will, and Tortorella will, well, puck's got to go on the ice, and someone's got to go win these games. And they've been very evenly matched. That's why they're 2-2 now, headed back to Vegas. And I like watching what the outcome's going to be and then breaking it down.
And we could talk about those adjustments. I think what's kind of cool about this series, and I've talked about this a lot, but the relationship between Salt Lake and Vegas, and how I think it's cool that they are playing Las Vegas in the first round, and maybe that can be, even though they're not in the same division, maybe that can be kind of a rivalry or a thing. And even though I'm not here for the Vegas, the city hate, the interaction between the fans has been interesting. But my mother flew to Vegas today.
Okay.
Not for the game, just flew to Vegas. Plane apparently was just chock full of Mammoth fans. So wearing their sweaters and the whole thing. Anyway, I'm super stoked they're playing Vegas in the first round. I think that actually really adds to it. And the fact that tickets were cheaper at T-Mobile.
Are they?
They were at the beginning of the series anyway. I think says something. But anyway, an opportunity for Mammoth fans to step in and fill the void. And it's so easy to get to Vegas. I mean, how cool would that be if you saw Game 4 here and then jump on the old plane or shoot in the car, make the short drive, go catch Game 5 down in Vegas? I think it's awesome. We
have not had, I don't want to say not elite level sports locally. BYU basketball has been very relevant. BYU athletics in general has been very relevant. Utah football has been going through a weird period with all the WIT stuff, and they've still been very competitive, but weren't great. And the Cam Rising down year was obviously very bizarre, and Utah underachieved. So I'm happy honestly, locally for fans, that there is kind of a big story. And actually, one of the funny things about the Mammoth that is pretty similar to the Jazz, even though I think the Jazz have kind of soured some people and they'll come back around, but Mammoth are a really easy story to root for if you're a local fan, right? It's easy to pick them up casually. You're not picking either BYU or Utah. There's no real history. Like, there are people who don't like the Jazz right now because they don't like the Angels, or they may not like how Ryan has changed the team from the Millers. But that doesn't carry over to the Mammoth because no one else has owned the Mammoth before Ryan, and there's no real pain to the backstory. There's not real long-term familiarity with any of the players or the front office members. So I think it's something that, while I'm not sure it's taken a full stranglehold in the market the way the Jazz have, and certainly Utah and BYU and that rivalry has, I do think this is an easy team right now for our community to root for. And I like seeing our community come together like we saw on last Friday when we were out on the plaza. I do personally, as a Utahn, enjoy that. And so hearing that people are going down to Vegas and all their sweaters and gearing up, I think is really cool. And that's a part of this story that I'm personally enjoying the development of the story, regardless of what happens on the ice.
Are there people out there that don't like the Angels? I haven't heard that from Jazz fans.
I mean, every Facebook respond is just like, Trader Danny has ruined the Jazz forever. It's like, are you just a mad person on Facebook, or are you a one-time diehard Jazz fan who now doesn't like them? I don't know.
Because I get the sense the vast majority of Jazz fans, and not to change this to a Jazz conversation per se, are pretty understanding of the rebuild and all of that.
No, it might just be angry people online who are finding something to be angry at.
Like, I'm really surprised how understanding the fan base was through the rebuild process. Way more understanding than not.
I think so too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the building was still sold out.
All right. I just haven't heard that a ton. But then again, I'm not that online.
And I'm not trying to pretend that it is permeating the culture to a point where, like, Jazz fans aren't showing up. They are showing up. And then as soon as they're a playoff team again next year, it's going to be a huge, they're going to be a huge story again, and the fans will come back the same way they've circled around for the Mammoth. But there's not even, like, the contextual aspect of figuring out how to root for the team, the way people are going to have to figure out how kind of to root for the Jazz again. There's almost this, like, enjoyable naivete.
But the community thing you're talking about, I think the Jazz scratched that itch too.
Big time. Big time. And they will, but they haven't for the last 4 years.
Because they haven't been as good. But
so I'm glad for fans locally that they're getting it.
Who was it? I first heard it from Tom Curl, the great Tom Curl of the Warehouse, but I'm sure he picked it up from somewhere. But, you have red and blue and you mix it together and you get purple, and it definitely makes a lot of sense. And that is true, I think, about the Mammoth as well. And that's the fun part about pro sports. I like the divided part too, though. I don't think people often get caught up in that as a negative thing. I think the BYU-Utah rivalry is great.
100%.
I think it's great, and it's actually what's the opposite of divisive? Inclusive.
Yeah.
It's inclusive in you're both participating in the same event. You're just on opposite sides of it, which can be super fun.
But it doesn't turn you into enemies. Maybe for a week it's silly to trash talk or whatever. But yes, I'm totally with you.
Now, there's some drunken idiots and some, I don't know, I guess on the BYU side they wouldn't be drunken idiots, but some people that misbehave.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of it, I think, is healthy too. It's It's the great part about sports. And I do think it's important for the Mammoth to land in the community culture. This is their opportunity to do that. And they need to do that to succeed, because the newness wears off eventually. You got to give people reason to buy in. Mm-hmm. And you got to give people experiences, and you've got to give people storylines. And it doesn't even always have to be about wins, but you got to give people something to buy into, some reason to put their Mammoth flag out or wear their sweater to work or whatever the case is.
Yeah, totally agree.
And they're in the process of that, but I mean, it is a thing. You got to land in the culture. You got to become a thing. You can't be... God, what was the name of that ABA team that moved to town when I first got started? It's owned by Ike Austin.
Oh, man, I don't remember this at all.
It didn't land in the culture, did it?
Yeah, I believe it.
So, I mean, not the NHL and the ABA are far different things. But they've got to land. They've got to land in the community. They've got to land here. And I've told you that a lot of the people that I've known that have really gone headfirst into hockey were already hockey fans and from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. They need to land with people who, like you and I, who spend most of our lives here, who haven't necessarily had hockey as a part of our sphere. And how do you get into that? And having exciting playoff games is a good way to start.
Yep. And where, BYU and Utah and the rivalry and, the regular season is cool and whatever you're building up to makes sense. And you can make a little NCAA tournament run or you can go to the college football playoff, which we've not seen either of our local teams do yet. But there is something fun about like the sustained 2, maybe 3, maybe 4-week stretch of a playoff run that I remember being young because I grew up here and, Jazz fever taking over the city, especially the finals years. And it seems to just grow in momentum. I remember when the University of Utah makes the Final Four and makes the national championship game where like every further step you take, the excitement grows, the community seems to grow, the sense of what's going on seems to get more and more special. And as we're getting to Game 5 and inevitably Game 6 coming back here on Friday, I think you are starting to feel that pressure, but also that community grow. And I like that as a person who gets to participate in sports and enjoy sports, and I like to see it reflected by our community.
Do you remember that Show Me the Title campaign? Never liked that.
Okay.
Like that?
It just seemed like, oh, hey, Jerry Maguire is a big deal right now. It was like a meme before a meme really existed.
It was virality before that existed.
And they're like, how about if we just change the word money to title?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Run with it.
Well.
But I remember it.
It stuck. It did its job because I remember exactly what you're talking about. I was 12 at the time.
Christian Jerry Maguire was a movie in the mid-'90s starring Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. And a very young, just on the scene, Renee Zellweger.
Yeah.
And some little kid who's got to be 50 now.
Jonathan Lipnicki.
Is that his name? All right. Anyway, it was directed and written, I believe, by Cameron Crowe.
That's right.
The same guy who did Almost Famous.
And the guy who Jerry Maguire is based on used to love jumping on the radio. He was always available to come on.
I've heard it's not about that dude. Terrell Owens' agent?
Whatever. I've talked...
Drew Rosenhaus?
No, a different guy.
Oh,
no, the guy who it's actually based on, who I've talked to, I've interviewed in a past radio show, and loves to come on. Loves to be available to talk about being who Jerry Maguire is based on.
Have you seen that movie, Christian? All
Nope.
jokes aside? Really? Oh, you should watch that one. You would like it. It's good.
I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, it's entertaining. And if you're a sports fan, you'll obviously like it.
Yeah. Lee Steinberg.
Oh, yeah, Lee Steinberg. He was Steve Young's agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a legend. Is it based on him?
But he's around. He's just like kind of available. It would make sense that he'd be around at Utah with the Steve Young connection.
Yeah. Steve Young, he's been on DJ and PK a bunch. But yeah, sports agent grows like a heart. It's a good story.
That does sound funny.
Some of the most iconic moments of all time. And certainly Cuba Gooding Jr.'s best.
Oh, he won the Oscar.
Yeah.
And Jay Moore is in it. He's the bad guy.
Yeah, it's funny. It's worth watching.
I mean, usually explaining these sorts of things to Christian is kind of a joke. I'm actually surprised you haven't seen that one.
Oh, I mean, it has some of the most famous lines of the 90s of any movie. I mean, Show Me the Money, You Complete Me, like You Had Me at Hello. Those are all Jerry Maguire, right?
Oh, and it's kind of a sappy romance tale, so your wife may like it too, Christian.
Yeah, this is for sure. Throw it on.
So you need to put Almost
and
Famous.
Cute little kid.
Almost
Lipnicki.
Almost Famous is number one on your list.
That's the best Cameron Crowe.
And then you need to do Jerry Maguire too.
Okay.
Go home.
Don't bother with Vanilla Sky. It's not very good.
Go home to your wife and say we're doing a Cameron Crowe marathon this weekend. We're starting with We Bought a Zoo. We're going down through any of it. I've not seen that.
I haven't seen that one either.
No.
Don't bother.
Horrendous.
No, start with Almost Famous, and then go to Jerry Maguire.
And then end there and pretend those are the only movies Cameron Crowe ever made.
Oh, no. Fast Times at Ridgemont High
okay,
is great.
Yeah, you're right. My apologies.
Coming up next, top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Joining us, let's see, at 4:30, we're going to talk to Don Williams. He covers the Raiders of Texas Tech. He'll be on with us at 4:30. And then Mike Folta with us live at 5 at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. So big day on the Jake and Ben Show. Top 3 stories next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake, Scott, Ben Anderson. Time for the top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, AJ Dybantsa reveals his signature Nike logo.
This actually is kind of a big deal in the sense that they don't do this for every player. Now, probably maybe more than they should, but there's not a lot of guys coming out of college that get a logo the way AJ is getting a new logo. And you can go find it at KSLSports.com or on our Instagram page. We've got it all. But I do think it's a real sign of how much there's a belief that he's going to be a huge, huge star, and they're willing to invest in him early.
I will amend your take just slightly, and
Okay.
I think you'll agree with it, though. There aren't that many Nike rookies that get their own logo.
Sure.
Adidas will give their logo to anybody.
Sure.
Because they have 5 clients. And I mentioned that because everybody tried to make a big deal out of Adidas doing it with Donovan Mitchell. And it was a big deal, but it's Adidas. They were desperate. They're desperate to get stars, and so they invest really early on young players. Whereas Nike, they don't do that. You have to kind of earn your way before Nike's willing to give you the special treatment. And so to get a logo from Nike coming out of college, I think is an extra big deal, actually.
And the fact that it's from Nike. Now, there are players
That's what I'm saying.
that develop their own, like you said, logo. You remember last year Ace Bailey had the Ace hardware store logo on some of his shoes. And people are like, Nike has debuted the Ace logo. It's like, no, they didn't. And while he said they were working on it, I don't think they ever revealed an official Ace logo. Yeah, Nike tries to be a little more particular about who they invest in and how they market them. While they sponsor probably 60+% of the NBA players as whose shoes they're going to wear, they're very specific about who becomes a face of the organization.
I'm not a shoe guy. Who has their own Nike shoe right now?
LeBron, Kobe obviously did. It's not a lot.
Paul George did at one point. I know, because Zion.
Giannis.
Giannis has his.
Cade Cunningham.
Okay. Yeah, and Cade's was new this year. That was
Devin
a big
Booker.
deal.
Okay, Devin Booker. Yeah, it's not everybody, though, being the point.
No, the fact that you're not I got the Jordan Clarksons.
Because
They don't do
remember, Paul George was worried about it because Zion blew out his ankle or hurt his ankle because his shoe exploded. Do you remember that whole thing? And Paul George was like, I hope this doesn't reflect bad on me. I like my shoe.
6 to 8 players is what a very quick Google search says. And yeah, LeBron, KD, Giannis, Ja. That's the mistake.
That's going away.
Devin, Cade, Jason Tatum, and Luka Doncic. But Tatum and Doncic both get it through the Jordan brand. So again, to go with AJ and put him coming out of college among the likes of these players says how much they're investing in him to step in and be a star. And he certainly has the opportunity. You know, The Athletic just released a new mock draft with Sam Vecini, their mock draft guy, and they've got him at number 1. We had Kristen Peak on the show yesterday. She's got a new story out today. She says everything she's hearing is AJ's going to go number 1 overall. It makes sense. I think he is going to be the number 1 overall pick, and we'll figure out where he's going a week from Sunday.
Listen, we talk about BYU and their journey and NIL, and one thing that we don't talk about nearly enough that matters, particularly in basketball, and this is an example of that. BYU is not only a Nike school, but they are a Nike Tier 1 school, and they are a Nike school that signed with Nike before Nike was Nike. Mm-hmm. So they love and always have BYU. Even when BYU was in the Mountain West Conference, Ben, do people know how shoe deals work? There's a Tier 1 shoe deal, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1, you get gear, and you get money.
Yeah.
Tier 2, you get gear. Tier 3, you get coupon for the Nike store.
BOGO. Yeah.
You get, here's 10% off for you and your entire team.
Correct.
That's how it works.
That's why Utah is stuck with Under Armour.
Utah was a Tier 2 Reebok school, but I don't think they've ever been a Nike school. But they were a Tier 2 school forever. The entire Mountain West Conference was a Tier 2 whatever they were. BYU has always been a Tier 1 Nike school. And now that NIL is a thing, and now that BYU is in the market for some of these big-time players, being a big-time Nike school played into A.J. Dybantsa going to BYU.
No question about it.
It absolutely did.
Yep.
And because Nike said, go to one of our places and we're going to love you. I mean, I don't know how far A.J.'s relationship with Nike goes back, but I'm guessing it's, early teens?
3-4 years, yeah.
More than that, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 4 years ago, he was 13. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Do
he's
the
not that
math.
old.
Yeah, don't do math on the air. But certainly his AAU years, I'm not sure. I'm sure his AAU team was a Nike team. Anyway, point being, that plays a role in BYU's success, and we don't talk about that a whole lot.
No, it's the dirty secret of all of college athletics that you have picked you've picked us from a select few schools based on what their shoe sponsor is or what they're thinking. Yeah, because you're a Nike school and you're going to go there. And it doesn't always happen. Cooper Flagg is a New Balance guy and couldn't wear them last year, but was still getting paid by New Balance and does some ads. So it's not always the case, but I think Cooper Flagg is the exception to the rule, maybe even the exception that proves the rule. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell going to Louisville as an Adidas school and then getting his own signature line of shoes. None of that's coincidental, other than he became good enough that they were happy to give it to him.
Guarantee his AAU team was an Adidas team.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I go back to, and sorry, we don't have to dwell on this, but I remember when Frank Martin left Kansas State for, where'd he go, Ben? Do you remember? It was a lateral move at best. It was like South Carolina or something. I said, why on earth did he do that? And you look into it a little bit. Kansas State flipped their shoe from Nike to something else, and his AAU feeder program was a Nike school. So he left to go to another Nike school.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. Tons of power.
Next.
Number 2, NBA playoffs. Your guy, AR, might be back tonight.
We will see as the Lakers try to close out this series without letting it go on any further. They are at home. That is the late game against the Rockets. They lead 3-1. Cavaliers taking on the Raptors, also battling to break that tie, tied at 2-2, going back to Cleveland. And the Magic hoping to go on the road and close out the Pistons in what would be pretty shocking 8-1 upset. Maybe not the most because, as you mentioned, Detroit had a very good year, no doubt about it. I think even a week before the playoffs, we were talking about how Boston is the team to beat. Boston is going to be the best team to come out of the East as long as they stay healthy. Better than Detroit, better than New York, better than Cleveland, certainly. So I don't think anyone would be totally stunned if Detroit loses in the first round, but it's still a major upset.
It is. I was telling you going into the playoffs, though, that Detroit was vulnerable, and they're proving that. Boston, though, is playing with their food. What are they doing?
I know. They absolutely no-showed yesterday.
They got stomped.
I mean, it was like a 16-0 run in the fourth quarter. They scored 11 total points in the fourth quarter. And, yeah, man,
Against the Sixers, by the way. Sorry.
And now that series is 3-2 and is headed back to Philly for a Game 6. And Joel Embiid's back, and this is why they talk about it. If you have the best player on the floor, you can win a playoff series. Joel was the best player on the floor last night. It was that simple. They didn't have an answer for him. As good as Neemias Queta has been this season, he's been a revelation for the Celtics.
He's way smaller than Joel.
But Joel's just a freak.
He's huge.
I mean, Joel's just a monster body. He's the closest physical comp to Shaq we've had since Shaq, and he's not that big, but
close.
He's as close as we've seen. And he can bully you, and he's we were talking about Shaq's lack of offensive talent last year. That's not the case with Joel.
Lack of
skill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Joel is freakishly talented. His skill level is through the roof. He can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, he can do a lot. But he can be the best player on the floor any given night. He's just so rarely on the floor, which is why he's got an MVP but has not won a championship. But, Celtics playing with their food is dangerous.
And then Captain Jack had a stinker as the Knicks blew out the Hawks 126-97. Captain Jack's team was not ready to go.
Captain Jack is Quinn Snyder, by the way.
Are you jealous that you didn't come up with that one?
Big time.
Huge, yeah.
Big time.
But
I'm totally stealing it.
Not so stubborn that you're not going to be like, well, I didn't make it up, so it's not good.
Oh, absolutely not. No. What? Who was that bozo on TV that came up with Stinkin' Riley?
Yeah, Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless.
Yeah,
that
we're
guy's
not
an
Skip
idiot,
fans.
but that's an amazing nickname.
Stinkin' Riley's the funniest thing anyone's ever called anybody. So we stick with Stinkin' Riley, and we'll stick with Captain Jack for Quinn Snyder from here on out because CJ Miles called him that once, and I had somebody tweet at me and say, I think Buddy Hield came up with it. So shout out Buddy Hield, if you did indeed.
No, CJ McCollum.
What did I say?
CJ Miles.
CJ McCollum, pardon me.
CJ McCollum. I didn't hear that part that Buddy Hield came up with.
That was what somebody had said he had heard. So I don't know.
That is so funny.
Really funny.
And so right on. I'll absolutely steal that. 100%. I can't believe the Hawks just decided not to play defense, I guess. Just don't guard anybody. Well, Jalen Brunson may have had the most efficient game of his entire life.
Yeah, he's
15 of 23 and 3 of 5 from 3 for 39 points.
And again, the bad news is like the Hawks are designed specifically to be able to slow him down. You know, you've got Dyson Daniels, who's one of the better perimeter defenders in the NBA, and Nikhil's a very good perimeter defender. And yeah, he just went off. And the Knicks do have this high wire act. You know, they can go up there and have absolutely nonsense games, and in a series they go 6 and maybe 7. And they have nights where you're like, oh yeah, that team looks like it could make the finals. Like it could push through the East. And last night was an example of that. But then they have nights where you're just like, I don't know what they are. So I can't bet on them night to night.
Did you see Celebrity Row at the Knicks game?
No, I did not.
It was full of Shema whatever was there. Ben Stiller was there. Tracy Morgan.
Okay. Yeah.
Who else? Who am I missing?
Obviously.
It was
Kylie Jenner was with Timothy.
Yeah. And I was just trying to think.
Oh, Chalamet is what you were trying to figure out how to say. You just kept calling him Shema. I was like, what are you talking
Shemada?
about? Yeah.
What's his name?
Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Now, geez, you've got
Chalamet?
me all mixed up. And I like Chalamet,
The Bob
Ben
Dylan
looks
guy.
just like him.
apparently. Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet.
He did the ping pong movie, right?
He did. Made by the same guys who made Uncut Gems.
But got snubbed. Oh, then I'm
It's
definitely.
a Safdie. And no, it has the exact same feel.
Does it really? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, it's the exact same movie.
Is it?
Uh-huh. But
So
with ping pong instead of sports gambling.
So he didn't get the Oscar for the sports gambling, so he just remade the movie to try and get it with the ping pong, just like Scorsese did with Gangs of New York.
Well, yes, the Safdies, yes. And I think they might have won an Oscar. I can't remember if they got shut out or not. But anyways, neither here nor there.
I know Chalamet. He did not get it.
He did not.
No. But I thought, who's made the most stinkers out of all those guys? It's got to be Ben Stiller, right? Tracy Morgan's probably made some stinkers.
He's made some stinkers. He's not in that many movies, and people loved 30 Rock. He's very funny on SNL.
Well, 30 Rock was incredible.
Yeah. So, but he's not like a big movie star. He's done some movies, obviously.
All right, what's next?
Stiller, though, yeah, some stinkers. You know, Spike Lee has some duds as well.
For example?
Apparently his new one this year with I didn't see it. This new one with Denzel is terrible. That's what people said.
Okay.
To the point where nobody saw it.
All right.
And Denzel's like one of the biggest movie stars of all time, and nobody saw this movie.
Next.
Number 3. Sounds like the NCAA tournament is going to expand.
Where's the Meow song?
It's called Highest to Lowest is the new Spike Lee joint. It got good Rotten Tomatoes, but nobody liked it.
What are they going to now? 74, Christian?
I think it might be 72.
It is expanding to 76.
76. We were both wrong. Yep, look at it right here.
You know what? Finally, we get everybody else in this tournament. Finally, we added 12 more teams to this thing. It's the NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand. Per ESPN, the men's and women's basketball tournaments to 76 teams. The expansion, which has been discussed for well over a year, is on track to be formalized in upcoming weeks.
I saw Wilner advocate.
We'll start next season.
I saw Wilner advocate for John Wilner, the Hammer, from where does he write? The San Jose Mercury News?
Probably.
Does that sound right? He was advocating for Salt Lake to be the Dayton of the West.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? Does that interest you?
No.
To host the first four or first four be a venue for first four in the NCAA tournament every year?
No.
That doesn't have any appeal?
No, because I like that we get the real tournament every 6 years or whatever it is, and I would prefer that. And the second you become Dayton, you cannot become the location of the entire first round every 6 years. And selfishly, I would rather have that because what do you do with all the play-in tournament games? You make fun of them.
Well, I don't like them either, but it
So
would
all
be
you do is tease them.
It would be something, and it would be here. And the first round games aren't that important either.
Yeah, but it's like kind of the opening event, and it's exciting to have it over at Delta Center, and people enjoy going to those. Are people going to go to the play-in tournament games? I mean, yeah, probably. No, I would honestly rather, if I had to pick between them, I would rather have once every 6 years have the entire, or this, this side of the bracket or this quarter of the bracket personally. But I'm also not a fan, and maybe some people do want to go see whoever they. And remember, no, I don't, because the first four, or whatever they're calling this, and now it's going to be, what is it, the first 18?
First 8.
First 8. It's just to screw over actual colleges that earn their way in to make sure they don't make deep runs. It's just to where you put, mid-majors to make sure that they don't end up in the Final Four. They have designed this as exclusively to pretend, what a gift. We're giving you more spots to come in when really they should just be in the 64-team tournament in the first place, and they've hurt them.
No, it's for the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th place teams in the Big Ten.
If you have to. Yeah, you'll get one of those teams. Yeah, and then an AQ from the smallest from the Missouri Valley.
No, that's all this is. It's stuffing more big conference teams into the tournament.
But yeah, that's what these new 12 teams are. Yeah. And they're trying to say, like, look, that means more access for everybody. No, the everybody they're talking about is like, we were really mad that, who was it? Tennessee? Who was Bruce Pearl mad at? Auburn? Why didn't we make it? Did you see how well we played in the NIT?
Uh-huh.
We should have been team 74 in this 76-team tournament. All right.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. So I hate to be angry at everything, Guy, and I'm not trying to. I generally try to not view most things through that lens, but this is ridiculous. This is stupid, and I actually think it hurts the teams that deserve a chance to have a real opportunity to advance.
Coming up on the show at 4:30, he covers Texas Tech. Don Williams is going to join us. And then Mike Folta is going to be on the show at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you about the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals to honor people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contests. Listen every Thursday to Jake and Ben. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Ben, news coming out today. Prince Salamani himself, I'm guessing.
Did you talk to him?
Is pulling all the dough out of LIV Golf.
Well, they've lost.
No, wait, that's not his name. What is it? Bin Salman?
Chamalay, I think is what it is.
Don't try. MBS, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Is the name of that guy? But anyway, the what do they call it? The fund, the Saudi fund that was basically propping up LIV. They're not going to prop them up anymore. And even though LIV has kind of said, "Hey, we're going to keep going,"
are you?
They're really not.
How?
How
do you plan on continuing to go with no money?
Which honestly brings up this thought. Did you hear Alex Jensen with Scotty and the coach earlier today? The head coach of the Utes jumped on and he talked about building. And he talked about wanting to get back to where it was in the 90s. And then he compared it to his time with the Jazz and how, things that Frank Layden and Karl Malone and John Stockton did are still... You still see the effects in that building today, even though that was 20-some years ago now, right? And so he needs to rebuild the youth program. And it was talking about building in a general sense because youth basketball is not only the players that are currently playing, but it's all the players, Alex included, and Rick Majerus and all that who built the program, right? And when I remember our show when LIV was basically announced or whatever, Ben, and we talked about all these players and whether they'd leave and whether they'd stay, and the players were whining about the PGA Tour, and the players were saying that they were bigger than the tour, and they weren't getting their just compensation because they were so great, and the tour is just this evil thing that is keeping everybody down. And we talked about, is it the platform or the player, and where is the value? And, the truth is in both, right? But it certainly was not what the golfers were saying. Now, these LIV golfers are putting millions and millions of dollars in their pocket and basically stole it from Saudi Arabia. So good for you, I suppose. But you know what? Bryson DeChambeau was not bigger than the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour won. The platform was bigger than the players.
No question.
Phil Mickelson is not bigger than the PGA Tour.
Rahm Emanuel quite literally disappeared.
John Rahm. Rahm Emanuel is the former mayor of Chicago, who's very much with us, not disappeared.
We don't know what he's doing. Thank you.
I think he's going to run for president.
Rahm.
But yeah,
I bet he win.
No, he fell off the map. Excellent example.
Wrong name, excellent example. Thank you. He was one of the 3 greatest golfers on the planet for a 2 or 3 year stretch. Went to LIV, never heard from him.
Yeah.
And in fact, it threw him off so badly, it's hard to even care that he's back.
Now, part of Phil Mickelson's, and these comments became public, part of his motivation for doing all of this and partnering with LIV was to create change within the PGA Tour. And at that, they were successful. The PGA Tour did have to reform some things. Not everything the players wanted to, but you're looking at bigger purses and some other stuff where players, different requirements for how many events you play and things like that. So they listened to a few of the gripes from the players. But make no mistake, the PGA Tour won this. And those players that were crying about all of it found out that, no, they were not all the value. Mm-hmm. That the platform was more valuable than the player. And LIV bet on these big names and then just filling in the rest of the tour with a bunch of shoe clerks and having rock music and shorts, and they were going to take the world by storm. And it was a pipe dream from the beginning for everybody involved. This was a doomed failure from day number one.
Never got any TV viewership of any real kind that mattered, which is where the money comes back to. You can try and sports wash all you want, and you can have seemingly unlimited funds from the oil money or whatever this Saudi fund, it's got to be what it is, but wherever it comes from. And still, when they look between 2022 and 2024, and they say, we've spent $1 billion on the mayor of Chicago. No, there's a joke. John Rahm. We've lost $1 billion. We invested $6, and we only have $5. What are we doing here? Why are we investing in these people? Like, even people with unlimited money don't like losing money. And that's what LIV was doing. And they realized, well, let's put an end to this. This isn't trending in the right direction, and it's not growing. It's shrinking.
I bet you LIV could still, or the Saudi investment fund could still fund LIV forever.
Yes.
But it failed. They thought that they were going to have the thing that takes over golf. They're trying to do the same thing in soccer.
Yeah.
And they've, I'd argue, been more successful in soccer, certainly, than they have been in golf. But they thought that they were going to take all the shine.
Tried to buy Messi for $500 million, and he chose Miami.
And on that note, Tiger, kind of a bozo. Decision-making in his personal life, not top-notch.
Questionable, at the very least.
But there's a reason he didn't latch on to LIV. Yeah. And it's not some sort of altruistic, I'm here for the PGA Tour kind of thing. I bet you saw it coming.
I think these players are lucky that it seems like the PGA Tour is just going to welcome them back.
Everybody but one.
Yeah, everybody but one. Poor Phil. But it seems like, Greg Norman also, right?
But Greg's not playing anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Phil's not really playing anymore either.
But they're going to let John Rahm back in. They're going to let Bryson come back. They're going to let the guys who went to LIV come back and be a part of the tour and be members. And you know what? In that sense, I guess those guys won because they took whatever $200 million to go join up and get their payday, and they stuck with it through 3 years and got to come back with that money still. But it will always be a part of some of their legacies, if anybody can.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I mean, Koepka will say, yeah, my legacy took a hit, but did you see the giant house I have in Palm Beach? Ben, I don't mean to interrupt the show here, but I'm seeing an online rumor that Diana Rossini could go on a podcast soon. The Call Her Daddy podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's the right spot for her.
Yeah, I'm not all that familiar with it, but...
Started out as a Barstool thing, and then whatever the idiot who runs Barstool kind of turned his back on them or whatever, got mad that they got famous. But they've turned into a very good podcast and have had some very huge guests. I mean, I think they've had Michelle Obama on. They've had crazy guests. So... And the woman who hosts it, I should pull up her name, Alex Cooper, has done a fabulous job running the podcast. It's one of the biggest podcasts on the planet. So good for her. I don't listen to it a whole lot.
I'm going to listen to that episode. I'll tell you that.
But that's exactly the thing. Like, you will go and listen to it. She's done a good job getting guests, and then does a really great job when she actually gets those guests on.
Is she the kind of softball type, or is she really going to get into
No, in fact, I think that was... Let me find out what the controversy was. I can't remember who she talked to recently, and people got really mad at her because she really got into the questions. Like, she really is like, yeah, dude, I'm not faking this. I know I've kind of got this look. She's kind of got the Barbie doll look. Comes again from Barstool. Has that kind of backstory. It's very, the branding is all bright pink. So I think people thought this is just a goofy, silly thing that they're coming on. And then she gets real guests and she calls them out and they're like, hey, you're not supposed to ask hard questions. So good for her. I think she's a cool person. So I think she'll do a great job with Diana. That's the right place to go.
That's just a rumor, by the way. There's nothing set in stone. But I want to hear her side of the story, Ben.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You already have. It was a girls' trip, bro.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Quite the girls' trip. No girls.
Some girls' trip, huh?
It was a girl trip. Can you do that? Can you backtrack like that when they ask for photos? Be like, actually, it was a girl trip.
She at least logged on to ChatGPT. It was like, make it look like I'm having fun with the ladies. As a girls trip, you can generate those photos. And then it's just like all these people had 3 limbs and 8 fingers, and she submitted that to The Athletic. And they're like, Diana,
this isn't real.
There's some issues with these photos.
Rough. Can't wait to hear from her, though. It's going to be amazing. Stay tuned. Don't forget, we're going to talk what's going on in the Big 12, mainly off the field stuff. We're going to talk to Texas Tech writer Don Williams. He's going to join us at 4:30, and then we're excited to talk to our buddy Mike Folta, voice of the Utah Mammoth, live from Vegas, coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. So stay tuned for that. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty G and the coach Friday from 10 to 2 at Next Gen Motors. Grand opening at their new location in Linden, 590 North State Street. Go say hi to Coach. He was wearing a Kiss shirt today. He likes Kiss more than I do. Never get famous wearing makeup.
Yeah.
Got to wear it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. The Kiss is fine.
I mean, I guess Gene can kind of get away with it now, but the rest of them, when you see Paul.
Well, we built the city as I'm thinking rock and roll.
No, that's
Starship.
Jefferson Starship. Yeah.
I think it's just Starship. I think post Jefferson.
Were they ever post Jefferson?
Yeah, I think it was just Starship. Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, just Starship.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm thinking rock and roll all night long or whatever.
That's Kiss.
That's a good song. I know you don't like it.
It's kind of the same thing over and over again. There isn't too much to the chorus, or not the chorus, the verses.
Yeah, it's one thing.
It's
a hell of a thing.
Is it? Is it really? All right, let's get to this. I guess news broke yesterday. Ben Shams reported what the commissioner and everybody's leaning to as far as this non-tanking stuff goes. Mm-hmm. And you and I kind of picked it apart yesterday, saying, "Wow, this is way too complex. Doesn't really solve anything, and actually could make some stuff worse." Well, Shams, Charania, who carries water for everybody. Apparently, and I have not heard this, so I'm eager to hear this. He went on with Pitt McAfee, and was defending. Was he really defending it? Defending this solution.
This is Adam Silver's crack at trying to basically de-incentivize losing. And the this is their version of relegating the bottom teams in the NBA. And so in all of American pro sport, once this is implemented May 28th in an owner's vote, they'll be the first league in American pro sports to penalize the bottom teams in the draft. It's not that you can't acquire players or can't build through the draft. It's just if you're openly trying to be at the bottom, or if you are at the bottom, you're going to be punished by it, by losing lottery balls. So basically in this format, if you're a bottom 3 team, you will have 2 lottery balls. If you're 4 through 10, you actually have 3 lottery balls. So in a lot of ways, if you're 1 through 3, you're incentivized to win at least enough that you're not at the bottom. So you're going to be trying to win. And then if you're 4 to 10, your goal is to try to win so you don't get sent to the relegation zone. So this is the NBA. And I was told Adam Silver had a call a couple weeks back, and he told the owners, he was very forceful with the owners. I'm not going to lie, there was a couple F-bombs in there. And he told, whether it was owners, GMs, everyone, you should hate to lose. Losing should be uncomfortable. People are now taking it as a badge of honor. And so this is the NBA. They are trying to take the step to crack down on this. And a lot of people might look at this as a radical approach, as an overcorrection in a lot of ways of what's happened in Utah and other leagues. So this is something that's obviously going to have major impact, not only this year, but years to come. Oh, yeah. There are 2 elements to this, Pat, I do want to point out. Mm-hmm. This now means moving forward, you can't pick number 1 back-to-back years, and you can't have a top 5 pick in 3 consecutive years. So that means teams like the San Antonio Spurs right now with Wemby, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper wouldn't exist. A team like Oklahoma City back in the day with KD and all those guys wouldn't exist. The Rockets right now with the Men Thompson, Reed Shepard, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr. wouldn't exist under this new policy. So this is the NBA trying to basically say F you to teams that are trying to lose.
Shout out Armpit for his weird grunts in the background. But, man, look, I'm not trying to be offended by it. I don't really care. But it's just so funny to me that the Jazz continue to be the face of this tanking thing. It's like, this has literally been going on since before the lottery began in the early 80s because people were tanking for Ralph Thompson or Ralph Sampson, excuse me, and all of these different names. This has been going on for a very long time. The idea that the Jazz have crossed some line for somebody is so silly to me, but it does, I guess, represent that there is still some punching bag aspect of the Utah Jazz that they take it on the chin more than some other teams when the Jazz have tanked really hard for 2 years and did it for half of a season twice. But neither here nor there. What is going to happen is it's going to become total chaos. It's going to become unpredictable of how you're going to finish in the lottery. So it does, I guess, disincentivize the idea of whether or not it's worth it to tank. But you are going to punish legitimately bad teams.
Yeah, I guess. You should never want to lose, though.
Yeah, I think that's and look, I think that's totally fair. Here's what I don't trust is that when you look at Adam Silver and how unwilling he is to show conviction with the rules that he does make, a la hard and fast, 65 game minimum, unless for whatever reason you only play 63 or 64, then that's totally cool. And we'll let you just get the MVP award or whatever, make you All-NBA first team. Anyways, because we can't have Luka or Cade not on the All-NBA first team. Like, we're going to see a team next year, when these rules kick in, just decimated by injuries. Did absolutely nothing wrong. The reason they lost all these games is because they were hurt. And someone tore an ACL, and somebody dislocated a shoulder, and somebody had a concussion, or someone had an emergency with the family. And they left, and as a result, they won 21 games. And they're at the bottom 3, and now they're being punished because real things happen to basketball teams all the time. And Adam's going to say, I guess I didn't mean to punish them. I guess that was a mistake. And he will adjust it from there. And I know that they have an end date on here in 2029 when they go back to the drawing board and re-examine what worked and didn't work. And it's going to be totally unpredictable how this, affects teams over the next couple of years as far as where they're going to wind up in the lottery. But the strategy teams are going to tank to get the best lottery odds is not hard to figure out. We walked through it yesterday.
I like the carrot and the stick approach most times. And in this case, I think we could find a stick if we were looking for it to really do the job. This is not that. And so for Shams to say that this is relegation, no, it's not. I mean, those teams still get their pick. Those teams still get to play in the league. So let's not call it relegation. I guess it is a mild punishment. But what you're going to do, though, is they didn't stop the try to lose. Adam Silver going, you should be trying to win at all costs, blah, blah, blah. No, you just shifted who is trying to lose.
Exactly right.
You didn't fix anything. You changed the incentive so that there's actually access to more teams, not fewer. So now instead of the bottom 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, and this is reiterating from yesterday, you've got teams 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 who are going to be trying to lose on purpose. Mm-hmm. Or, as you put out yesterday, you're going to have teams that are going to try not to win their first game until February.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and play at the end of the year.
Turn it on. Fine. We'll climb up and not be one of the 3 worst teams in the league, but we're good enough to make sure we're in that 4 through 10 spot.
You're not fixing anything. And it makes me laugh to hear Shams, who seems like an intelligent person, go on and say, oh, this fixes everything, because it doesn't. So you're either lying or you're not a very smart person.
So here, I'll pull up the standings.
So
right now.
I'd go, in that case, probably being untruthful. Or it's his idea, which would make it even more hilarious. That he's out there defending it because it's like, oh, this was my idea, guys.
So, okay, here's the really interesting part of this. Just to quickly reiterate, it's the 3-2-1 model. The bottom 3 teams in the NBA of the 3 worst records will get 2 lottery balls each. Teams 4 through 10 get 3 lottery balls each. Teams 11 12, 13, and 14, which is the 9, 10 play-in tournament teams, get 2 lottery balls. And then the teams that lose the 7, 8 play-in, which is teams 15 and 16, each get 1 lottery ball. So there are some lottery odds you can get, and they expand lottery out that way. So obviously the answer is you want to have the best lottery odds. So you want to fall between teams 4 and 10. And you would think, okay, teams 4 and 10, that's not a huge number of teams. It's only 7 teams total. I guess you can make that work. Jake, guess off the top of your head. What do you think the win window was between Team 4 and Team 10 in the NBA?
Yeah, as far as the worst goes.
As far as worst goes to however
so
the most...
Team
the
4 was probably what?
Well, it's the Utah Jazz. So
Yeah,
you know the
what
number.
is it?
22.
22.
So the 10th best team, or 10th worst team.
Probably what, 40?
42.
Yeah.
So there's a 20-win window, where as long as you're in that window and you know you're not making
good.
the playoffs, you're totally fine. So let's say you go and you're a team that says, we want to be in the lottery. We want to hold on to our pick. That's our goal. There's 3 dudes at the top of the lottery, and we're going to have whatever X% chance of going up and getting them. And we don't want to be one of the 3 worst, but we don't want to be teams 11, 12, or 11 through 16. So we just got to be somewhere in this window of 22 to 42. While, yes, that gives you some leeway to win games, it also gives you more than enough leeway to just lose as much as you want.
Think about this for a second, Ben, and I'm glad you're talking about it this way because I haven't thought about it. These new rules would not have changed the Jazz last season at all.
Correct.
It would have changed 2 seasons ago.
Uh-huh.
But what we saw
exactly
this
right.
year would not have changed one bit. The Jazz
the season
would
that just wrapped up would have not changed at all.
not changed at all. The Jazz would still have been on pace to win 30 whatever games, and they would have still panicked and said, Mylanta, we're going to win too much. And they would have still pulled the plug, and they would have still had that disastrous February and March that we all experienced. It wouldn't have changed anything.
No, it wouldn't have changed anything.
Even the Jazz, their team, is the inspiration for all of this revolutionary activity. And these new rules would not have changed the Jazz behavior one bit.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. Honestly, I mean, I don't know the math of how many NBA games are played total every year. It's whatever, 30 teams, 82 games, but you divide that by 2 because they play each other. So however many 2,400 games or whatever it is, 1,200 games that are played in the NBA every season. How many actual games do you think it changes, the approach? Total in the NBA.
Probably not that many.
Like
a handful.
Yeah,
maybe?
a handful. Honestly, I think you might be talking, it's like way fewer than 20.
Yeah.
Way fewer than 20, especially of teams trying to win games. I think you're talking about maybe 20 individual games that are going to be changed by this rule. Not every night for 3 straight months teams are adjusting differently. I don't think that's going to happen. I think teams are going to park between 4 and 10. Those teams already win 1 of every 3 games. They're not good enough to win 2 out of every 3 games. So nothing's going to change for those teams that are between 22 and 42 wins. They just have to be somewhere in that range. So, yeah, maybe if the Jazz said we don't have to be so aggressive, we can win a couple of more games here, but they're not going to risk their pick. And then the teams that are really bad aren't going to be able to catch them. And it's only going to really matter for the teams that are within striking distance of the bottom 3 teams in the NBA, which, again, the Pacers and Nets won 19 and 20 games. They were the 2nd and 3rd worst teams in the NBA. They weren't even close, truthfully, Jake, to the Memphis Grizzlies, who won 25 games. Not even close in the standings. So Memphis doesn't have to change anything. They don't have to play harder because they're still going to be 19 and 20 win teams. The Jazz and the Kings might have had to keep an eye on 3 or 4 different games more this year to make sure they don't fall to the bottom 3. That's it. That's all it's going to be. I don't think you're going to see suddenly, and I'll gladly eat my words if this works, and I hope it does work in all honesty, but I don't think it's going to. If we see 10 more teams, the bottom 10 teams in the NBA all have 30 wins, great. That will make for a far more competitive product, and I think that can be beneficial. Again, I would remind you those teams are never on national TV. Those are not the teams that are making the NBA a lot of money right now by selling to NBC and ESPN and, Amazon and TNT, or it's not TNT anymore, but wherever you're watching your games. Those aren't the teams that are swinging these huge financial opportunities. So I'm just very skeptical that this is going to have a rapid overhaul on the approach. Just like you're saying, it wouldn't have changed anything at all for the Jazz last year. And the Jazz were even right on that cutting line. It certainly doesn't change anything for Memphis, Dallas, New Orleans, Chicago, who were all between 25 and 31 wins and just can't fall out of that range. Super easy to do.
I hope that they name the rules the Jazz rules. I hope that that's what they're
Yeah.
known by.
Yeah.
The Jazz tanking rules. And they wouldn't have changed anything the Jazz did at all.
That's very funny.
That's very funny. They would have behaved in the exact same manner.
Yep. The exact same manner.
The exact same manner.
All 4 years, well, maybe 2 years ago they would have changed
2
it.
years ago it would have changed.
But that was
'cause
the only year. You're talking
that was
about
it.
1 year out of 4 that, yes, becomes the, quote, Utah Jazz rule.
Yep.
That something would have been different.
They're going to call this the Jazz rule, and it wouldn't have changed one dang thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Really funny.
Real quick.
And actually, you know what? Do you know why it's actually going to be the Jazz rule? Why it would be more apropos? Because what did the Jazz do the first 2 years? They were a 500 team who tanked to get into the top 10.
Yep.
That's actually what you're encouraging
want to
teams to do.
That is funny.
That's the Jazz rule of it, but they're going to think it's the last 2 years.
Oh, man,
and
the
it's
irony.
first 2.
The irony of that.
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, our friend Ute Shasta Trailer, by the way, shout out to Mike, gives us a little history lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson's Starship came about when Jefferson Airplane split in the 80s and was formed by Gracie Slick
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Paul Kantner. After Kantner left, they just became Starship, led by Gracie and Mickey Thomas. Basically, Starship was a glossy top 40 hit-making machine.
Did he say Gracie? Like he friends with her? I think she
No,
goes by
I
Grace.
say
Oh,
I
okay.
said Gracie.
Okay.
Oh, she went by Gracie back in the
Oh,
day.
did she? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Interesting person, that Grace Slick.
Well, she was amazing when they were Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah.
You know, they were born out of the Haight-Ashbury, just like the Grateful Dead and all of that. In fact, they played on the Grateful Dead's first album,
Oh, okay.
I think. Or maybe it was vice versa. Maybe the Grateful Dead played on their first album. That sounds more like it. Anyway, good times, good talk. Good hearing from you, Shasta Trailer.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We will have more coming up next. In fact, we've got What You Got Wednesday coming up next. I don't know if I'm excited or dreading it. Probably.
Well, one of
dreading
them's right up your alley.
it. I know. But those are often the ones that you miss on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We had one that was way up my alley like a month ago and I got smoked.
Yeah.
It was like celebrity something or other, and you creamed me.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. What You Got Wednesday, straight ahead, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What you got Wednesday? What's the deal? Jake's got rules, Ben's out to steal. Bozo takes their spinning around. Flush it down, flush it down.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for What You Got Wednesday. By the way, we're still kind of moving this segment around to find its new home. We're not sure if we want to put it like earlier, like in the 3 o'clock hour and get some votes going, or if it really is not to honk our own horns, but it's a popular segment. So do we want to drop it in the 5 o'clock hour? We're still kind of
I like the
feeling
idea
it out.
3:30 because people can respond throughout the show. But that also means we have to keep talking about it throughout the show.
Which sometimes is not so much.
Not that interesting.
So we're going to try it at 3:30 today and see how it goes.
Okay. We did 5:30 last week.
If you're new to the show, Ben and I go head-to-head into 5 and you're probably chance you're new to the show, into 5 selection drafts, 1 sports-related, 1 not, and then we put it out on the Talk Snap for a vote. Christian, how'd it go last week?
Last week, legendary athletes to come through Utah in honor of Messi. You guys tied 50-50, split the vote right down the middle. And talented families, Jake, you won that one 60-40.
Nice. Okay. So Ben will take the non-sports, and I'll take the sports. Does that work? All right. What is our sports-related topic?
Another, I guess, Messi-inspired draft, right? Short athletes.
So short kings.
Short kings or queens.
Or queens. All right. But athletes that are notoriously short.
Yeah, not just like, well, whatever. Yes.
We're not going to, we decided we're not going to benchmark it and say like 6'1" and below or anything like that. But so if you draft somebody who's 6'8",
like that?
I mean, that's not going to
get you any votes.
Right.
The idea is the people will choose.
Notoriously short. I get the first pick. I'm going to go with Lionel.
Yeah. It's maybe the greatest soccer player of all time, and he's a little guy.
Notoriously short.
How tall is Messi?
Lionel Messi.
Messi, height 5'7". Little guy, and he looked. I mean, it was weird watching him play against RSL and realize, oh, even here he's the smallest person. It's not just like He's small over there because they have bigger, better athletes. He's just small everywhere. Okay, I will go with... There's not an obvious number 2 pick. In fact, I don't know if there's an obvious number 1 pick. I will go with probably the person everyone thinks. I'll just go with Muggsy Bogues because it's freakish how little he was. And he's
like my favorite basketball player of all time.
And you were a Charlotte guy, which is cool.
Yeah, I was a big Hornets fan. And apparently he's just the coolest dude.
But he's legitimately 5'3" and played in the NBA for a decade. It's insane. That he was like one of the guys. He was easily a top 100 player in the NBA.
He was in Space Jam.
He was in Space Jam. But the fact that he wasn't a novelty act, the fact that not only did he played 900 games and was legitimately very impactful and one of the best defenders in the NBA because he just was always up inside of whoever he was defending to get steals and pokeaways. He was really incredible.
Beloved in Charlotte.
Yeah, I believe it.
All right. Now, I'll let you guys adjudicate on this, but I have a justification. Serena Williams.
Okay.
I don't actually know how tall Serena is, but for her to be better than her sister, who's legit 6 feet, I always thought was pretty wild. Like, as far as tennis build goes, Venus should have been way better.
You're right. You're thinking long, lanky, the ability to create leverage.
All that. Venus is tall.
Serena is 5'9", so she is above average height for a woman, but not enormous for a tennis player.
Right.
It's fine with me. Again, I'm happy to let the voters vote on it. If they
Christian,
think that's a bad
do you have any thoughts?
I would say that the average height for a professional athlete woman is probably taller than 5'9", right? So she's below that threshold.
All right.
The fact that her sister is there and is so much taller than her, I think makes it a more legitimate
That's my
pick.
justification.
I think it's totally fair.
All right.
All right. I will also go with the woman. And even though this is a small person sport, Simone Biles is like 4'8".
Yeah,
she's not just gymnast short. She's crazy short for anybody. So I'm going to go with Simone Biles, who might be the greatest gymnast of all time, and she is 4'8". Can she reach a door handle? It's so little. So shout out Simone Biles.
She can't ride the cannibal at Lagoon.
Yeah, right. She can't do any of the rides. I don't know if she can do puff.
Okay, I'm going to throw in some local flavor here, but truly an amazing story that I bet against. Not really bet, but I said there was no way he was going to have an NFL career, and he has. Is he still? Did he play last year?
He was at the very least on a practice squad.
Britton Covey.
Yep, Britton Covey, no question about it.
5'2".
Against all odds.
Against all odds.
So little. It's crazy.
He shouldn't have been a D1 football player, let alone like a punt returner. I mean, that dude's a great story.
Yep. And also a cool dude. Very Muggsy. I don't know if he's Muggsy Boguesy, but every time I've talked to him, which is probably a dozen times, he's just he's just totally with it and appreciative of his life and really enjoyable to be around. So absolutely shout out Britton Covey. Very cool story. All right, I'll go football too. I hate to just be copying what you're doing. I will go with Wes Welker, who is he's not the go-to little football player, but Wes Welker was incredible as a receiver, which has now turned into usually a lot of very big players. Wes was dominant. All the Super Bowls with the Patriots. Give me Wes Welker.
What number is this for me, Christian?
This will be your fourth pick.
All right, I'm going to go with it. Spud Webb.
Yeah.
The other point guard that we associate with being short, and he won the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing because he was what, 5'10", 5'7"?
Oh, he's 5'7". He could dunk. Like the greatest athlete of all time, 5'7", and you can dunk.
That was back when real names participated too.
Yeah, that was back against his teammate
Dominique.
Against Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah,
his
and
teammate.
he got some little guy points. Like they gave him some extra votes, but
he deserves it.
Good. He could absolutely fly. All right, I hate to pick this guy because he's a cheater, and not off the field. I don't know what he does off the field. Do whatever you want to do, but I hate the Houston Astros. But Jose Altuve, was hitting 30 home runs a year. He's 5'6", and has not Aaron Judge power, but absolutely was like a big-time hitter. Had a ton of power in his prime. He hit 31 home runs in 2021. He hit that was doubles, excuse me. He hit 31 home runs in 2019, 31 home runs in 2021. How does that guy that small have that much power? And that's just technique and, strength. Crazy.
And
then he knew what pitch was coming, which really helped.
And it was probably, juiced.
Maybe. Bat was corked, whatever it was. And yeah, they told him what pitch was coming. His teammates all did. That was cheating. But
all right, this guy wasn't very good, but he was just teeny. Darren Sproles.
Yeah.
The little running back for the Chargers.
And he was fine. He was good. Also did some kick returning, right? Like he kind of did a little bit of everything, and it was a little guy. Darren Sproles. He was cool. Cool story.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that it?
You've got one more, I think.
I've got one more.
Ben, you get the last pick.
Okay. I'm going to go Allen Iverson. He's not quite like the littlest little player, but you think of maybe the best little player in basketball history. He's the best small guard. So I'll take AI.
All right, review.
Jake, you had the number 1 pick. You went Lionel Messi, Serena Williams, Britton Covey, Spud Webb, and Darren Sproles. Ben went Muggsy Bogues, Simone Biles, Wes Welker, Jose Altuve, and Allen Iverson.
If you want to put their heights next to them in the vote, that would be helpful, but I know that's a lot of work. Other names we left off? Celtics, Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah, I thought about him.
Yogi Berra, little.
Was he small?
Yeah, he's like 5'8", not very big.
I mean, we could have picked like NASCAR drivers or something.
Horse jockeys.
Yeah, I don't know any of those, but I know like Jimmy Johnson can't be a tall man.
Manny Pacquiao was little as a boxer.
Yeah. Oh, we could have gone.
Those little boxers are small.
You could have gone the boxing route, for sure.
But no, I think that's a pretty good list. I don't think there's anyone aggressive. I'm glad you got Britton Covey.
Yeah. Well,
it was a good pick.
What's our not sports?
Utah Mammoth in Las Vegas playing the Knights. Hopefully they're not listening. We don't want them to get distracted. They got a big game tonight. We're going to go with best Vegas things.
Okay.
I'm not a Vegas person. You are a Vegas person.
I love
so
Vegas.
This leans in your favor very heavily. But I will tell you from afar, my favorite thing about Vegas is the sordid history.
Oh, that's a good pick.
It started out as a outlaw town. They like the idea that this is in the middle of the desert. It's hard to get to.
It started out as a Mormon town.
Yeah.
And then evolved into an outlaw
But even that's
town.
a cool story.
It's a great story.
A cool part of it.
No,
and
that intertwining, like how Harry Reid became Speaker of the, or not Speaker of the House, but Senate Majority Leader.
Yeah.
Like, is an amazing story and all wrapped up with the origins of Vegas. No, that's a great pick.
So, and it still kind of has some of that. The reason it is what it is today is because of where it came from.
Uh-huh.
It's not quite as sordid, but it still is somewhat Sin City. For a reason, so I like that part of it.
All right, my number 1 pick is I'm picking with my heart here, and I'm going to go with Fremont Street.
Okay.
The Fremont Street experience.
The old strip.
The old strip. I love Fremont Street.
You did mention that the Golden Nugget is your favorite.
It is my favorite hotel.
Yeah.
I like to swim in the pool with the sharks. I once saw Richard Cheese at the Golden Nugget, which might have been the highlight of my life. Great buffet, good steak restaurant. I love Fremont Street. And the weirdos that are on the street itself is very charming.
Okay. That's totally fair.
The Heart Attack Grill is on Fremont Street?
Never been. I've been to Fremont Street.
Did you know if you weigh over 350 pounds, you eat for free at the Heart Attack Grill?
Well, we should
I
start
think they had
working
to
on
up it to 400.
Did they? Well, I know they have a big cattle scale
That
right
you
out
walk and
there
step
on Fremont Street.
All right. I will go with, and if this is too vague, let me know. But I'm going just with casinos. Now, I don't have a favorite casino because I don't gamble. I don't play poker. I don't play slot machines. I don't gamble. But I do love just walking through casinos and seeing how bizarre this part of the world is that doesn't really exist in a whole lot of spots.
Well, you're kind of stepping on. Well, tell me this because you're kind of stepping on my next pick, but
Okay.
I'll go ahead and then maybe we can make a ruling on all of it. I was just going to go with sports books.
No, so I think that's different enough.
I think maybe we can clarify. Did you want walking through the casino? Because
Yes.
a lot of people do that.
That's a ton. That's what I do because I don't like losing money, and that's all I would do. So yes, you can even say casino people watching or walking through the casino. I think that's totally fair because it's not the gambling because I don't gamble, but I do like the walking through the weirdness of it all.
I like sitting in a sports book even when I don't have a dang dime on the line where you could just access like 100 sporting events at once is pretty wild.
And now look, this is a nostalgia thing for me, which is funny because neither of my parents were smokers, but there is still something funny about going inside of places that smell like cigarettes that remind me of my childhood, because when I used to go to Village Inn, it smelled like cigarettes because half there was a smoking section, which when you're indoors, the entire restaurant.
Yep.
But there was a smoking section, and it still smells like my childhood, even though I didn't grow up in a smoking household.
All right, you're up.
Okay, I will go with Vegas Summer League. It is cool. It has turned into a little bit of a circus, but again, if you want to walk through the casinos, you're going to just see 15 NBA people, whether it's players or teams, or I talked about Jeff Van Gundy. Like, you are going to see. I was in one, and Greg Oden was just walking around, like 5 years after he was out of the NBA. It's like, hey, that's Greg Oden. It's like, if you want to go and see NBA players, go down and see it. It's a cool thing to be a part of, and then the actual games are fun.
Is this 4 for me, Christian? 3. All right. I'm going to go with residencies.
Yeah, I have it number 2 on my board. I was going to wait on it.
The fact that, this happened to me. I was down in, shout out to my late uncle who got married in Vegas like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And we all went down there and just decided to get tickets to Elton John.
Yeah.
Because Elton John was at Caesars for several months.
Years? Yeah, whatever.
So can you imagine just being like, let's just go see Elton John tonight. That should be awesome.
Yeah.
And there's like 10 of those in Vegas in any one period of time.
Right. And some are lesser and some are greater.
Yep.
But it is a cool thing that they do. And that's, by the way, that's been a thing. That's a part of the culture.
Yeah.
That's not a new advent.
No, the Rat Pack.
Yeah. Absolutely. This has been a part of that idea. I think
at
that's
the
great.
Sands.
All right. I will go with, and I've never been there yet, but it does seem like it's the future and what's coming, and I'm going to go eventually. I will take the Sphere. I even like seeing the Sphere from the outside. I think it looks cool.
You know, it's funny you say that because, it does look cool. I'm not going to disagree. But I made a decision like a week ago, never going.
Oh, you're putting the kibosh.
Have you read about Jim Dolan's surveillance stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you been reading about that?
Yeah.
And the crazy, crazy stuff that he is doing? I'm sure.
The second you walk in there.
Okay, there's no way he's not selling all that info that he's going to strip off you the second you walk in there to. You're going to be on like call and email list for the rest of your life.
Yeah, at best.
At best.
Yeah, the best is you're getting harassed for the rest of your life by callers.
Yeah, maybe harassed by Jim himself.
Who knows?
So I know, I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
Like, because it does look appealing, and like PK's been and says it's amazing, and I was dying to go see The Dead when they were there, but I don't think I'm going to do it.
Okay. There's a chance I never make it inside, but I like walking around the town or driving into town and seeing it, and it's lit up, and that's fun.
Listen, if your son insulted Jim Dolan's son at school or something like that, he will spot you the second you walk into MSG and 86 you in 30 seconds flat.
Yep.
Because he is a crazy person, who has access to some wild surveillance technology that the government shouldn't have, let alone James Dolan.
Has way too much power.
But I mean, it's cool. I agree with you. I'm going to go with pools. I told you the Nugget pool was my favorite, but pretty much every resort now has an awesome pool.
I've had a lot of fun hanging out in the pools. And they're open till late, and there's concerts sometimes.
Oh,
and there's
and bars,
movies,
and they have, the Nugget has a table you can swim up to and play a little blackjack.
That guy face down on the old strip, usually in one of the pools.
Got to go with
Floating
the pool.
at the top.
Got to go with the pool.
Yeah, no, and because it's just so awful and hot, you have to get in the pool. What else are you going to do? All right, you know what I'll go with, thinking about it? I love the lights. I love the lights of Vegas. And if you want to say the neon lights or the signs or whatever, however you want to describe it, I do love how lit up the town is at night and how bizarre it is. And I do think it's just pure light pollution, which is not bad. It's just light pollution, but I do like seeing it.
They have a neon sign museum that you should go to because it's really cool. Yeah. If you ever go to Vegas, because you hate Vegas, but if you do like the lights, you would like that.
Yeah, the Vegas lights.
Like that.
Like that?
I'm gonna go with the food.
Yeah, I have it too.
It's turned into a real foodie town. I ate at Emeril's restaurant in the MGM once.
Shout out our friend John Paul listening. JP,
oh, yeah?
who is just the ultimate Vegas.
He's a Vegas guy for sure.
Yeah, JP's the best. And the worst thing about him is how much he loves Las Vegas because he's, as he says, he's culturally Italian. He's saying Piero's Italian cuisine in Vegas. He's
I
giving
bet it's
it a
amazing.
shout-out. Oh, and JP.
I bet it's amazing. JP,
I bet an Italian dinner with JP is one of the great experiences in life.
I've taken multiple restaurant recommendations from our guy, John Paul.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, I know he does.
Yeah, he knows.
There's a reason I'm asking him.
Shout out JP. He says, my kind of town.
Oh, Vegas is the best.
Christian, you have
you have Vegas
family
ties?
in Vegas.
Yes, in-laws live in Vegas.
What did we miss?
Do you want to recap and tell us what we missed?
Yeah, we'll recap. Ben, you had the first pick. You went Sordid History, Walking Through the Casinos, the Las Vegas Summer League, the Sphere, and the Neon Lights. Jake went Fremont Street, Sportsbooks, Las Vegas Residencies, Swimming Pools, and the Food. No Strip on there.
Yeah.
What kind of strip?
The Strip.
Oh.
The Las Vegas Strip.
Right.
Listen, pervert, this is a family show.
So we're not talking about the Glitter Gulch here.
No James Harden.
Well, the Gulch is gone now, but
gambling in general, like a
gambling.
Some blackjack.
Gambling. Yeah, we could have said. I thought of taking any of the games. You know,
you could probably see a theme in my picks that none of them have to do with spending money because I go to the summer league for free because I do it for work, and it's like watching people gamble or taking in the lights outside. Yeah, I don't spend money. I don't like spending a lot of money, and that's the cheapest way you can do Vegas.
There's a lot of other cool museums like the Mob Museum. The Anatomy Museum or something?
Oh, the one that used to be at the Tropicana?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mob Museum is amazing. I definitely would recommend that. I thought of Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, shows.
Movies about Vegas. I like movies about Vegas. It's like a good movie town. Casino. I know you like Casino.
I love Casino.
The Hangover. Yeah, the first one's good. I know they ruined it by making the same movie 3 times over. It's not perfect, but what's the
Vegas Vacation?
Oh, Vegas Vacation is hilarious.
Vegas Vacation is amazing.
Fear and Loathings, the book is great.
The movie's
very
good too.
fun. The movie's funny. Yeah.
All right. I like it. I like Vegas things. That's good.
Ocean's 11 is an insanely fun movie and is all Vegas. So
what is that? The prequel to Ocean's 33?
Started it all.
Didn't they end up with a crew of like 26 people by the time they stopped making those movies?
No, they didn't stop. They're making 2 more.
Oh, they are?
A prequel and another sequel.
Well, they've run out of ideas in Hollywood.
Correct. And yeah, these make money. Con Air, great Vegas movie.
I've actually never seen that movie.
Oh, Con Air. One of the stupidest things that's ever been created and just great to watch. Better than Uncut Gems.
Gotta tell you, I can't really handle Nick Cage.
Oh, and this is the worst Nick Cage has ever been.
Yeah.
He's got a horrible accent. He's got the mullet. But the cast of characters around him is fun.
Is what makes it?
It actually makes it a fun movie.
All
but
right.
Nick is as bad as it gets.
Hey, shout out to JP.
Yeah. Listener. Again, I can't believe people listen.
JP's the best.
Yeah, JP is the best.
Stay tuned. We will have more for you coming up next. We're going to talk some Big 12, I guess, headlines.
Yeah.
Because some off the field stuff going on with Texas Tech writer Don Williams. That's coming up at 4:30. Obviously, the Mammoth, a big topic on the show today. Mike Folta, the voice of the Mammoth, was going to be with us at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Our friend U State Iceman on the Talk Snap sent this in, Ben. We just did What You Got Wednesday. Favorite Vegas stuff. He says, you forgot the Mob People, Lake Mead, that pawn shop that was on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Could have gone with the Pawn Stars guy. I've driven by that thing.
What about the
Hated that whole thing.
drive-in weddings?
Yeah, the Elvis impersonators. There's lots.
We could have gone with Elvis in general.
Yeah, Elvis in general. Yeah, absolutely. Colton says the best thing about Vegas is seeing it in your rearview mirror when you drive home.
Wow. Really?
That's harsh.
That is harsh. Hey, what was the matter with Pawn Stars? I wasn't in love with the show, but I watched it a couple of times.
I thought it was fake.
Oh, it was totally fake. But I do like that there was like some historical, like they wove history in with
I
these.
think that part of it's interesting.
With these bananas people.
You're right. I like the historical aspect of it. What's the Roadshow? Antiques Roadshow aspect of it.
Yeah.
I like that show on PBS. I like it better than I liked Pawn Stars. But I always hated the idea of like, what I like about Antiques Roadshow is they're surprising people with how much their stuff is worth. And the little bald guy with the goatee was like, this is the single greatest version of this I've ever seen in my life. My expert tells me it's worth $28,000. And he goes up to the guy, he's like, I'll give you $400. And if you don't like it, get out of my shop. Jeez, relax, pal. And I get that's A, part of the show, and B, pawn shop culture. But I just didn't like the group of people. I hated the dad.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that shit stunk.
The part of it,
Out on
like
Pawn Stars.
some idiot comes in and says, these are Bugsy Siegel's briefs from 1926. Said, well, I'm going to have to look into that. And they dig into the history. It was somewhat interesting.
These are Muhammad Ali's shoes from the Rumble in the Jungle. A priceless heirloom. Because, like, you're right. $4.
Best I could do.
Best I can do.
But that's
or get out of my
shops.
face.
I've never actually pawned anything, but isn't that what they do?
They tell you
I mean, that's how it's portrayed in every movie.
I apologize. I hope this guy's listening and reach out to me if it's the case. I owe a pawn shop $5. And I'm not kidding about this. I had these old Hi-8 videotapes of my family. And Hi-8 cameras are hard to find because they're old and they're dead and they don't work very well. So I went into a pawn shop because I thought, oh, maybe they will have them because it's hard to find at the DI or secondhand or anything. And I wanted to convert these tapes to digital. So I went into a pawn shop and I said, would you happen to have any cameras like this? Because they are very specific in what they work. Because some of them are Hi-8 and some of them are Super 8. And he's like, some guy actually just brought 2 in. Why don't you try them out? And he said, try them out. And if they don't work, just bring them back and it'll be fine. He says, but if they do work, keep it, come back and give me $5. And it worked, and I never went back. And it wasn't to be mean. I was doing it around Christmas, and the holidays got busy, and I just never went back in. And now I swear I don't know which pawn shop it was.
So you just admitted on air
I stole.
that you stole.
I stole from a pawn shop, which is probably the one person you don't want to steal from.
You're going to get beat up.
But I really feel bad about this because this is now 10 years old, and I owe some long hair from a pawn shop $5 for the camera he gave me. And my apologies.
But isn't that how it's portrayed in every movie? Is like I'm at the end of my rope. I've got this Rolex that my grandfather gave me in 1972. This thing should be worth like $50K or something. And you go in and be like, I'll give you $25.75
and a sandwich.
And then the person eventually does it, right?
Yeah, and they're like, well, I guess I'm on the end of my rope. I was not lying.
Right.
I can't wait for somebody to come and buy it elsewhere.
Again, not that I watched that show all that much, but I thought the history part was interesting. The characters, like all reality shows, are just
caricatures.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Shout out to our local pawn people.
We were going to play a Seth Greenberg clip here. Why don't we save it for a little later
Yeah.
on? Because one of my least favorite people on the planet is defending a bad idea. So let's break him over the coals. I'm all for it, but we don't have have time at the moment to do it. We'll get to our 4:00 reset coming up next. Don't forget, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the Big 12 on and off the field with Don Williams, who covers Texas Tech. He's going to join us at 4:30. Mike Folta at 5. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The 4:00 hour is here.
It's fun time!
And you're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I hope that they name the rules the Jazz rules. I hope that that's what they're known by, the Jazz tanking rules. And they wouldn't have changed anything the Jazz did at all.
That's very funny.
That's very funny. They would have behaved in the exact same manner.
Yep. The exact same manner.
The exact same manner.
All 4 years, maybe 2 years ago they would have changed
2 years ago it would have changed.
But that was the only year. You're talking about
it.
1 year out of 4 that, yes, becomes the, quote, Utah Jazz rule.
Yep.
That something would have been different.
This is Jake and Ben on 97.5. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Just a little recap from a segment we had earlier talking about the NBA anti-tank rules, which could be the Utah Jazz rules. Oh, I hope. By the way, you can follow the show on, I don't even know what it's called, X?
Uh-huh.
I still call it Twitter.
That's what I call it.
I'm
always going to call it Twitter.
That whole brand, why would you do that?
Well, it's a little bit like the Delta Center, which has come back because for a while there was a push to be Delta Center. And now everywhere it's the Delta Center again. The's one.
That never made sense to me anyway.
I'm with you. But
some grammar national socialist was like, there's not supposed to be a the there.
But it's back.
But you can follow the show at Jake and Ben KSL Jake and Ben KSL. And then every What You Got Wednesday, we put it up online for a draft. And I got to tell you, Ben, I'm feeling pretty strong about both categories.
Okay.
Today.
Oh, all right.
Especially Vegas things, but I'm feeling pretty strong.
I wonder if Serena Williams will hurt you with short people.
If people won't get why I picked her?
Yeah.
Well, listen to the segment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, she's awesome. She should get votes no matter what draft we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I am surprised by her. What do they call those? The Ozempic, but what's the
Wegovy or whatever?
No, but LV1s or something like that. GLP-1. I'm surprised that she's become the spokesperson for that.
Well,
no judging, but I'm just surprised that her, of all people.
People have money.
But she married some dude that's got like $1 zillion.
Invented Reddit.
Yeah, I don't think she needs the money.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money she made over her career.
Plus endorsements?
Plus endorsements? I don't think she needs the money that bad, unless she's got a Phil Mickelson-like gambling addiction.
Serena made $94 million in prize money.
Alone.
So she probably at least tripled that in sponsorships.
In endorsements, yeah. I would think so.
So, yeah, she might have made $500 million by herself.
Let alone she probably gets $500,000 just to go have a donut in the morning or something, like for personal appearance fees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But now she gets double that for not having a donut.
I guess.
I don't think she's eating donuts, yeah.
No, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Not no more.
Anyway, shout out to Serena.
Yep. Shorty.
What do you think about that, Ben? We were talking about the Utah Jazz rules that are coming in this offseason. Do you actually think that this will be the final product?
No,
and by
not
the
even
way,
close. I don't think it's going to resemble the final product.
I don't want to get into the minutia of what it actually is because it would take for the rest of the show to do. But they're punishing basically the worst 3 teams in the league. The 4 through 10 get the best odds, and then 11 through 18 get some odds.
Lesser. 4 through 16. It's not all 18, but it's 16.
And I ask if you think this is going to be it because I don't think so either. And here's why. Because I think that the reason that they do this is because they want to lick their finger and put it into the air. Mm-hmm. Because you've said this or alluded to it, like Adam Silver is obviously petrified of blowback of any kind. And remember, we were talking about Sam Amick's leaked likely solution. Remember, that was a week before Shams did this one. And Sam's got a lot of blowback with people saying it was a stupid idea. And now we've got this new one. And people are going to say this is a stupid idea. Bet you he goes back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and again, it has an expiration date specifically, like 2029, to make sure that this isn't permanent. And if they like it again, they can keep it or vote on it. What I do suspect will survive is the can't win the number 1 overall pick in back-to-back years, but that is extraordinarily rare. That is, how many times has that happened? Magic did it.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember how many other times
teams
have done
number
it.
1 pick back-to-back years. Cleveland did it.
Cleveland did it. You're right. And then ended up trading one of them. They
and
traded Wiggins.
The Magic did do it, but they traded Chris Webber.
They also
That's
traded
right.
it. So the 2 teams that have done it have never kept the pick, I don't believe.
No, Cleveland kept it. They drafted Kyrie
and
Anthony Bennett.
It wasn't the Wiggins.
No, it wasn't the Wiggins. No, it wasn't the Wiggins.
They won it like 3 and 4 years, 3 and 5 years, something wild. So that's really not going to make that big of a difference. I guess the 3 top 5 picks in over a stretch, that's going away. That could be a little bit interesting. But now because of the new lottery rules and how much parity there is going to be in the flattened odds, you're almost never going to see a team do what the Oklahoma City Thunder did, which Shams talked about in his quote or in that sound bite we played from Armpit Show, where they drafted Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, I think in 3 years, or at least maybe it was 3 and 4 because Serge Ibaka was also sprinkled in there somewhere. So you won't see that, but that's also pretty rare. You don't see a lot of teams that get 3 top 4 picks. He did mention the Spurs did it with Wemby and Steph Castle and Dylan Harper.
No, we do see it. The Wizards are the top 4 like every single year. To your point about punishing actual good or actual bad teams, the Hornets too, the Clippers back in the day, they were legit in the top 4 or top 3 every year.
So, and the reason you would say top 5 would apply to in the past, because if you finished with the worst record, you couldn't fall further than 5. Now, under this new proposed rule, teams with the 3 worst records, while they are in this, quote, relegation zone where they have 2 lottery balls as opposed to 3 to hurt their lottery chances, they can only fall as far as 12 They can't fall to 16, but man, 12 and 16 in the draft, who cares? That's the same pick. The 16th pick and the 12th pick doesn't make any difference at all.
No.
You'd rather have 12, I guess, but I guarantee you the hit rate on those two is decimal points apart, not huge percentage points. And I wouldn't be surprised if 16 is a better pick than 12 in the long run, that more success is had with the 16th pick than the 12th pick. But again, neither here nor there. Teams are smart. Teams are going to monkey with the rules however they have to make sure that they get the best draft odds. And as we said, if you had applied it to this year's teams, it would be between the 4th worst team that had 22 wins and the 10th worst team that had 42 wins. You just have to fall somewhere in there to be able to hold on to your pick. So while I think the thought process is, oh, good, let's give our fans something to watch by going out and trying to win games, that's better than just losing games. I guess might as well be at 35 than at 22. I think you're also overestimating how much some teams care. Some teams just aren't going to care. But great. Oh, we don't have to play a guy tonight? Then we're just not going to play him tonight. We're not making the playoffs. We're not trying to make the playoffs. And we're certainly not trying to put ourselves at risk of falling to the 11 or 12 spot because those teams, as we mentioned, 11, 12, 13 are going to be fighting like hell to get into the 4 to 6 spots. So they're going to cap the top of how many wins you can get because they're going to make sure they're pushing down because they want to get to the 10 spot to double their lottery odds or half again their lottery odds, increase them by 33 or a third of what it is otherwise. So, no, I think this is going to end up having a far smaller effect on the regular season and a much greater effect on the order of the draft. And so all Adam Silver's doing is changing the draft results, but not the tanking results.
No. Teams are still going to try and lose.
Yeah, teams are going to find a way to be in that window.
In fact, even more teams are going to try and lose.
And maybe you shrink that window from 22 wins to 42 wins like we're talking about right now between the Portland Trail Blazers, who have the 10th worst record in the NBA, and the Utah Jazz, who are sitting at 22. But it's not going to be by a lot.
Oh, wait. Let me ask you this. Do you think this will happen as far as we're into predicting things? Do you think the number 10 slot, which we're talking about, which this year was 42 wins, do you think that actually goes down to 35 wins?
Yes. Because there's an incentive to be down.
And everybody's going to be racing to be down. You got to be in that sweet spot. You don't want to be at 42. You need to be at 32 or 30.
Because, again, it's already the worst place to be. The worst place in basketball right now is the play-in tournament. It's not good enough to win in the playoffs and not good enough to get a good lottery pick. So teams are going to fight like hell to get out of that. Now they have a real easy chance to do it because you go from the 11th worst team to the 10th worst team gets a significant uptick in draft odds.
Ask the Bulls.
Yeah, so you're going to try and do that the best you can. Why wouldn't they do that?
No, they would.
Yeah, so they're going to try and...
This doesn't fix anything. Yes, it's a cat in the wall.
So, yeah, you're going to actually lower the number of, I think, 35 to 48. Well, 35 to 38 win teams. I think that number probably drops to 30.
But the problem is that Adam Silver has sunscreened himself into a corner. He has to do something based on his behavior during the season. So he has to do something, and this is going to actually do damage. Ben, can I stay in the NBA but switch gears just a little bit? I do not care for LeBron James's act. I mean, he's a great player, no doubt, but his personality rubs me the wrong way. It's no secret. But I got to tell you, he might be a PR genius.
Okay.
The way he twists arms and sometimes rhetorically the way he puts things is interesting, and I got to think very deliberate. All right, let me read some quotes. He just did I don't know if you read it, but a big long ESPN thing.
Okay.
Who's that? I almost said something. That very LeBron friendly reporter for ESPN, Tim McMenamin.
He's the Lakers beat writer for ESPN.
He wrote a big long thing. He loves LeBron very much. LeBron was talking about Michael Jordan. You ready? Here's what LeBron said. I'll try to get through these quotes. Quote, "I've never compared myself to MJ because our games are totally different. I have been a forward point my whole life. I've always looked for the pass. MJ kind of looked for the shot. Not kind of, he did. He looked for the shot. There are a lot of things where I would say my game is a lot different and a lot better than his. But bleep, he was bleeping great. We're both great. We're both great basketball players." Then LeBron talks about the GOAT debate, and he said, quote, "I think it's a very tiring conversation. It's barbershop talk." He goes on, he says, you can look at both of us and say that you love both of us without trying to bleep on the other person. And usually it's bleeping on me. But I know for sure that I've done my part in this journey, and more than anything, I hope I made him proud, at least, wearing the number 23. I'll explain why I think rhetorically this is kind of funny. But what's your initial reaction to that?
Well, my first is it's funny that he runs down barbershop talk because he had a TV show called Barbershop, which was about being how dudes talk in a barbershop, which is very funny to me. I think LeBron gets painted in a little bit of a corner here because, like, if you ask LeBron, like, you think you're better than Jordan? Like, honestly, the best answer is probably, oh, man, I don't even think about it. I'm not even worried about it. Jordan was a great player. I don't know if you can ever touch that. Or, it just shows some modesty there. At the same time, he's asked over and over. His legacy will be on the line. People would hold it against him and be like, see, even he said Michael was better, so he can't be the GOAT. And people do want to have that distinction as the greatest player of all time. And, outside of Michael, LeBron and Kareem probably have the two best arguments to be the greatest player of all time. So I don't also mind him saying that I think I belong in that conversation. But it's kind of a lose-lose situation for LeBron to talk about it either way.
Who's the best-looking male actor?
Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet. Okay.
I know his name's Chalamet, but we messed it up earlier.
Ben, I'm not saying that I'm better looking than Chalamet, but I am better looking in a lot of ways than Chalamet is. I mean, but let's not beat around the bush. He's a really bleeping good-looking guy.
Good-looking man.
He's more of a nose guy where I'm more about cheekbones.
Yeah.
And I've always been a cheekbone kind of guy, but his nose is incredible. But, I don't like the discussion. It's all just discussion. But really, it's a great discussion because we're both really great-looking people. You just throw yourself into the GOAT discussion.
Absolutely.
And do it trying to look like you're being humble.
Yes.
And do it while trying to compliment the other guy, where he's actually insulting Michael Jordan.
Uh-huh.
And including himself in the conversation. Ben, I'm not saying that I'm a better writer than you. We're both great writers. I mean, I don't dangle as many participles as you do, but you're also way better with your verbs. So
you're an Oxford comma guy.
I'm nowhere near as good a writer as you. Why would I have any business putting Ben? And even if somebody says, do you think you're a better writer than Ben? My answer would be, man, Ben's a great writer. Are you kidding me?
Appreciate you lying about me on the radio.
But that's what you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
He's
No,
just
of course.
talking himself
Absolutely.
into the conversation. He's doing what Ben Simmons did with Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
A clutch guy who, if you just talk about yourself in that manner, people all of a sudden go, oh, I guess he is
part
one
of the GOAT debate.
I guess he must be part of the GOAT debate. I don't think those other players that you mentioned, way better than LeBron, in my opinion.
Fine. That's
belong
totally fair.
in the GOAT decision if we want to split hairs. But it is funny to me. This goes right along with the Donovan Mitchell calling himself the team's best player.
Yes.
It's like, what a ridiculous quote.
Again, I think it's a little bit of a lose-lose for LeBron because he gets asked about it. But, yeah, this response is ridiculous. I hate the response. I don't know how he's supposed to answer it other than say, if he just wants to say, yeah, Michael's the best ever and I don't really care about it. But also, he
really cares about it.
He does care about it.
He really cares about it.
And he does also have to be careful, I guess, of not coming off like Kevin Durant, who said, the only people who care about legacies are sports writers and they made it up and fans who made it up and it's not really a conversation anybody's having. It's like, well, Kevin, that's wrong because LeBron's thinking about it. And LeBron has done things in his career to designate himself as the greatest player of all time.
He's right about the first part, though. Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
That media just makes it up and fans just make it up.
Yeah, I do think that's totally fair.
That is 1,000% fair.
But players do care.
Magic Johnson's probably sitting in his living room going, why does everybody just assume LeBron's Michael Jordan's the best?
Yeah. Bird probably thinks he might have been the best.
But seriously, Michael Jordan was the original PR genius in the NBA. And he basically talked himself into that spot before he even won a title.
Yeah.
Which is really true.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was calling him the GOAT or whatever before he won a dang thing.
Yeah, it's funny. There are some, maybe it was just even from The Last Dance is where I've seen this quote. But yeah, there a report of, I can't remember, it was 60 Minutes or whatever it is, was doing kind of an expose on the NBA in the moment. And the cutaway is Michael Jordan, who's yet to win a title, but is considered by many already to be the greatest who's ever played.
Yeah.
It's like 1988.
Yep.
He had never been to the finals, never beaten the Celtics at that point, or whatever the series was. Yes, that
so
had
Jordan
started
did it
early.
too.
Absolutely, and had the Nike train behind him that grew into a phenomenon. So this is not the first person to do this. And by the way, I think Wilt and Bill Russell did this. I do think this, who's the greatest that's ever done it, has existed for a long time.
I just admire the rhetorical device where
Sure.
you just say, hey, I don't know who's the bigger celebrity, me or David James. I mean, we're both really
I don't know
big
who's the
celebrities.
better TV host, me or DJ. Well,
DJ's good at a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm better at a lot of stuff.
I'm better with my teases. DJ's editing is much better than mine. It's like, what?
I'm going to seriously start doing that more.
You put yourself in the conversation, and people are like, yeah, I guess Jake's good at it. And it's like, Jake doesn't do a lot of TV, actually.
Do you think it would work with stuff like talking to my neighbors about my crappy-looking yard? Like if I went up to my neighbor Glenn, who's got a really good-looking yard, and was like, man, I don't know who has the best-looking yard on the block. Is it yours or mine? Like, could I Jedi mind trick him into thinking like his ugly yard is actually really good-looking and
Yours
on purpose?
Is full and soft and well mowed, but the crabgrass I've got coming through is really nice,
gorgeous,
good this year. I've got dandelions.
Good crop.
everywhere.
Good crop. Do you think it would work?
You might as well. It worked for Ben Simmons.
Let's try it.
As you mentioned.
I'll let you know.
Yep.
Stay tuned. We're going to talk about what's going on down at Texas Tech with Sorsby. And we can talk about what the Raiders are bringing back next year and whether our next guest, Don Williams, who covers Texas Tech, thinks that they're favored to repeat.
Yeah.
We'll talk to him about that coming up next. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Kind of a wild week down in Lubbock, Ben. Of course, it has ramifications probably across the Big 12, certainly as good as Texas Tech has been lately. Let's talk about it. Joining us now, he covers Texas Tech for the Lubbock Avalance-Journal. He's Don Williams with us here on Jake and Ben. Hi, Don. Thanks for a few minutes.
Hey, Jake. Hey, Ben. How you guys doing?
We're doing terrific. We appreciate you jumping on with us again. All right, can you walk us through, I guess, what happened on your end? Have you seen this certainly at a far closer level than we have with Brendan Sorsby and what this last week has been?
Well, news breaks on Monday. ESPN, Pete Thamel with ESPN was the first to report it that Brendan Sorsby was under investigation or is under investigation by the NCAA for gambling. And immediately at this very same time, Texas Tech sent out a release that Brendan Sorsby is entering an inpatient facility for treatment of a gambling addiction. Texas Tech officials actually use that term, a gambling addiction. And I thought it was kind of interesting and probably not a coincidence that the ESPN story and the Texas Tech release were sent out. The timestamps were actually identical. 12:04 p.m. our time Central and 1:04 p.m. Eastern time, the ESPN story. Subsequent reporting by pretty much the national outlets have turned up that Sorsby, and this came out today, and one of the ESPN reporters published this today, that according to sources who had reviewed betting data linked to Sorsby since 2022 showed that he had placed more than 10,000 wagers on multiple, like a half a dozen betting platforms, and over multiple states. The key thing, though, is that he's alleged to have bet on Indiana games in 2022 when he was a member of the team. He was a true freshman that year. He played in only one game and redshirted, but the NCAA doesn't make any allowance for that. You can't bet on games involving your program or games involving your school. Doesn't matter whether you bet win or lose. It doesn't matter whether you played in the game or you didn't play in the game. You can't do it, and if you do, you are subject to permanent ineligibility. And so that's kind of the big thing to watch, is how they view that. And then subsequent to that, it's also been reported that he played at Cincinnati the last 2 years, and it's reports that he went to Cincinnati Reds games and was betting those little making those baller strike bets for amounts that were $2.50 to even less than $1. And again, that's something that, even though it's a nominal amount, NCAA rule is that you cannot bet. You can bet on a few pro sports like UFC and NASCAR, but you cannot bet on any pro sport that the NCAA sanctions a championship in. So if there's a College World Series, you cannot bet on Major League Baseball. And so that's another thing that could lead to penalties against him. But that's kind of where it stands now. And then, of course, we'll kind of wait for the NCAA to rule. And, I think the expectation is that he's going to get some sort of penalty. The question is he going to be permanently banned, or is he just going to get multiple games worth of penalty? And again, considering that if there is evidence there has been reported that he bet on Indiana games while he was on Indiana's team, the rule is that you face permanent ineligibility for doing that. And so, like I say, that's kind of where it stands right now.
If he does not come back, what do you think the plan is for the Red Raiders at quarterback?
Well, the thing that's different this year that hasn't been different that you've had the last couple of years that you no longer have is that spring transfer portal, where after, spring practice or sometime during the spring, guys who aren't, happy with their status on a team can enter the spring portal. You no longer have that this year because coaches voted to only have the one transfer portal window from January 2nd to the 16th, I think. And so the roster's built. The roster's basically done. So Texas options now are Kirk Francis, who is a quarterback that they did add from the transfer portal in January from Tulsa. He's kind of been a career backup / part-time starter. Played in 18 games at Tulsa. His total passing is only a little over 3,000 yards. He's the guy who is at the top of the depth chart now, if there's no Sorsby. And they also have a redshirt freshman named Lloyd Jones, 6'4", 210-pound kid who was a 4-star recruit. He suffered a season-ending knee injury in 2024, his senior year of high school. He wasn't medically released from that until about mid-season, 2/3 of the way through the season last year here as a freshman. He got into one game at the very end, garbage time against West Virginia. Tech won that game 49-0. He threw the first 2 touchdown passes of his career. So as it stands right now, if nothing changes, you'd have Kirk Francis, Lloyd Jones probably battling to be opening night starter for this team. And then the kind of X factor is a player that BYU fans may be familiar with because he tore up Utah last year, Will Hammond, who's a young quarterback who was a 4-star recruit, and he suffered a torn ACL last year, late October, against Oklahoma State, and so he is in the process of rehabbing that injury. And the latest on that, as Joey McGuire said, best case scenario, they think he'd be back week 3 of the season. Week 3, though, is Tech's Big 12 opener because one of the games that was moved up, the Houston game. They're playing the Big 12 opener on September the 18th, a Friday night. And so if Brendan Sorsby is out, if he doesn't come back to play for Texas Tech, then this becomes Will Hammond's team as soon as Hammond is able to be fully healthy, because he's clearly would be a cut above your other options. and he's a guy who is a couple of years, his first 2 years on campus has shown flashes when he got in that excited fans. He got in someone because Bear Morton had so many injuries. So he has played some, and he's been a little bit hot and cold, but when he's hot, it looks really good. And like I say, the best example of that was at Utah last year in the Big 12 opener where he came in. Morton got hurt first series of the second half. Hammond came in, played the entire second half, and led him to it was a close game, and he leads them to a 34-10 win.
Don, so beyond Will Hammond and what it ends up looking like next year or this season with Texas Tech, what type of a blow is this? I mean, Brendan Sorsby was the top, maybe not just quarterback, but player, right, in the transfer portal. At the very least, he was the top quarterback. I mean, this was supposed to be the difference. This is where Texas Tech had the dominant defense, number 2 overall draft pick, another second-round draft pick that's not on the team anymore, but there was still some belief that this team could win a playoff game or more with Sorsby. How much do those expectations change?
Good question. And, I mean, there's no minimizing what blow would be to this team because, I just outlined the quarterback picture and, Hammond is the guy, but he's not healthy. And Sorsby is a guy who's viewed as a potential first-round draft pick. I mean, 6'5", 235. He threw for 2,800 yards both of the last 2 years at Cincinnati. And the other aspect of that is Sorsby ran for a guy who's 6'5", 235. He can really turn it loose and run. I mean, he averaged 500 yards rushing each of the last 2 years at Cincinnati, and he ran for 9 touchdowns both years. So they were excited about him adding that element as well. That if it's 3rd and 8 and he can't find an open receiver, he can go run for 15 and move the chains. It's a big blow, but it kind of Texas Tech was very active in the transfer portal, obviously last year, building the team that won the conference title and made the CFP. And they were very active in the transfer portal again this year. I think they had 22 transfers last year and 21 this year. So, again, they feel really good about a lot of the guys that they have coming in. Now, I don't think that you can replace the defensive line that they had last year where, David Bailey's the number 2 overall draft pick. Lee Hunter was the number 49 draft pick, and Romello Height was the number 70 overall draft pick. I mean, a first-rounder, a second-rounder, and a third-rounder, you're just not going to replicate that. So I do think they had a good portal class, and I do think they'll still be a good football team with a chance to win the Big 12 title. But it's a big blow to have this big a question mark at quarterback, and it's going to remain probably for quite a while.
Don, I'm curious as somebody, a professional who covers the sport, I'm curious to your opinion on the relationship between sports and gambling, and specifically college sports. I heard a stat the other day, and who knows if these things are true, but something like 67% of young men or college-aged men have gambled on their phone in some way, shape, or form. I mean, that just struck me as wild. So I'm curious, what do you think about the relationship between gambling and specifically college sports right now?
Well, maybe it's because I'm kind of old school. I'm a guy in his 60s that, when I grew up, that was taboo. And so I think it's very hypocritical of, the NCAA and the sports leagues in general to take all the gambling advertising they do. It's so ubiquitous, everywhere. And then to, say that, your athletes can't gamble. And I guess I'm not, I think the athletes gambling should pay a price for that because it's completely against the rules. And if you're doing that, you are compromising the integrity of the game. I don't care if you're betting only on your own team to win. You still don't want to go down that slope of betting, having gambling involved. Having players, athletes involved in gambling, period. I'm a guy who doesn't believe Pete Rose should ever be in the Hall of Fame, period. I just think it's really dangerous because, I wrote today a column about, we're obviously talking about a whole bunch of ramifications for, questions about what happens if Brendan Sorsby doesn't come back to play for Texas Tech. But the questions we should be asking are about, Brendan Sorsby, the human, and how bad is this addiction, and can he handle it, and can Tech trust him, and should Texas Tech trust him? I think probably both parties, Texas Tech can support him, obviously, and stand by him, but I think both parties are probably better going their separate ways, because to me, I think Brendan Sorsby has a lot more important things to deal with right now than trying to see how quickly attorneys or whomever can get him back on the field as quickly as possible. If you're making $10,000 bets, I don't care how small they are. I don't care if it's $1 here, $2 there. The thing that should be a gigantic red flag is the frequency and the proclivity. That's your gambling, because there's probably 90% of the population that can do it without harming themselves, but there's a small percentage of people that's going to be very, at best very costly, and at worst is going to lead you down the path that leads to ruining your lives, leads to ruined lives.
This is also going to pull up some inevitable questions about what happens with his reported $5 million in NIL money. Again, NIL is not pay for play. It can't be pay for play. He committed to the school. He gets the $5 million. But do you think there might, if he is banned, going to be some who try to get their money back knowing that he didn't end up playing at the school, didn't even take a snap?
Yeah, I think so. I think they probably have some protections in there. I don't know for sure. I don't know the details of that contract, but from talking to Cody Campbell with the Matador Club in the past, I know they're smaller NIL agreements. When they first started, they were paid like monthly over the course of maybe the year or the school year, but they were paid out monthly. So I don't think it's the case that Brendan Sorsby got $5 million up front. I think it's something that's paid out over the course of the year. And then I think it's kind of like any other contract, or there are provisions in there that allow you to void it or not pay it if something like this comes up, or at least not pay the remainder.
Yeah.
Don, thank you for coming on with us today. We really appreciate it. And next time we have you on, let's talk about on-field stuff.
Yeah, let's talk football.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Yep.
Thanks, Don. We appreciate
it, guys.
Yeah, be well.
You bet.
All right, that is our friend Don Williams. He covers Texas Tech for the Lubbock Avalance-Journal. I'm totally on board with him about the gambling thing.
100%.
He called me old at heart. I'm with him about Pete Rose. I brought up that stat about the young people because the NCAA has never been more feckless. So who's going to enforce this stuff? I couldn't believe Don was talking about how the thought of maybe he only gets a few games seems crazy.
Yeah.
I would have thought, and maybe I'm up in the night, this dude would have been drummed out of the NCAA with hardly any
pushback.
Yeah, well, without any even looking into it.
Agreed. If you set the margin or the room at, we'll give you a couple games for gambling on your own team. You've just greenlit everybody gambling on their own team. It has to be all or nothing.
It has to be Pete Rose.
Yeah, it does have to be Pete Rose. I don't think you can loosen that up. So, I honestly mean this for these kids. That's better for the kids.
Yeah.
This actually is a tool that is better to protect the kids. If you are so big into gambling that you can't help but break the one rule, the ketchup on the hot dog rule, it's the one thing you don't get to do. If you have to bet on your own team, you have a gambling problem. And you can't be close to sports because it will ruin you. Clearly, you don't have the ability to control this one or two things that you aren't allowed to do. So this is actually in place for your protection. And if you show leniency here, you're probably going to end up hurting not just your product, which is I know what they care about most, but also the people involved.
Wonder if Sorsby knows a different language.
You mean like if he has a interpreter?
Yeah, maybe he pretends like he doesn't know English and just speaks German or whatever and has an interpreter, and you just throw that guy right under the bus. I mean, that is the proven strategy.
Yeah, that you can never go wrong by throwing your Japanese translator under the bus. And maybe that's how he can say he was handling it all. He placed the 10,000 bets and 80 bets at the baseball game I went to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know where Brendan's from. Brendan, you're from New Jersey. You're telling me you only speak Slovakian?
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, my interpreter has a gambling problem. Throw the book at that guy.
He's got a real issue. I'm not the guy who has the problem.
No, not at all.
その賭けをしたのは私ではありません。
It was that guy.
That was her. She's got a real issue. She was really bad betting, had a bad streak on Korean baseball.
Can we translate that to English? Is that possible to do?
What just said?
Yeah.
It wasn't me that placed those bets.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. But it was.
But yeah, you are. The translator was you.
But it was.
It was my cousin who brought the bag to the airport.
That is your job. Yeah, that's what Carmelo Anthony did. Smart. Always have a fall guy. That's rule number one.
Yeah. Sorsby, not a smart guy.
Who was it that said that at the NFL symposium? Oh, it was Chris Carter, who said that when he was talking to the rookies. He was like, listen, always have a fall guy. Always have somebody around who's going to take the rap. And he even said, you're paying these guys.
Yeah.
So have them
work for you.
Have them be the ones going to jail.
Yeah.
It's great advice. Stay tuned. Audio Vault is next. Mike Folta at 5, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, today is Wednesday. That means it's a Win Ticket Wednesday, and this is going to be a good one. Caller number 12 right now, 801. I mean, they're always good, but you know what I mean. 801-575-ZONE.
Finally.
I'm not trying to
Something good.
I'm not trying to run anybody else down. 801-575-ZONE. You're going to score 2 tickets to go to almost any show at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater this summer. Their Summer of Live is here, presented by Live Nation. For 1 week only, you can score $30 tickets to select shows at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater. Huge artists like Kesha, Kid Cudi, Muse, 5 Seconds of Summer, and more all summer long. Tickets go fast, so don't wait. Get the full list and grab yours at livenation.com/summeroflive. 1 week, $30, thousands of shows, Summer of Live. Don't miss it. It ends May 5th at 11:59, so you got to get on it. Or be caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. So you're going to get your choice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's pretty good.
It is good.
All right. Which one
we gave away last week?
Which one would you pick? Kesha, Kid Cudi, Muse, 5 Seconds of Summer. There's more, but out of those that we mentioned, Kid Cudi, who got his car firebombed.
Probably Kid Cudi
by Diddy.
Oh, that's right. He also had that skateboarding song, Kick Push or whatever, right? Is that him?
No, that's Avril Lavigne.
No, that's Lupe Fiasco. I'm thinking of somebody different entirely. See, I don't know anything.
Ben, for the Audio Vault today, the best sound of the day is actually not from today. It's actually the 20th anniversary of one of the greatest, I don't know, Christian, what do you want to call it? Post-game rants of all time? Post-game meltdowns of all time? This is the Texas baseball coach, Augie Gerardo, and his post-game rant following a 6-0 loss to Nebraska.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I can't wait. I've never heard this.
All right. Let's go ahead and play it, Christian.
All right. In 15 minutes, you guys will probably all be fine with this, okay? So I'll just sum it up this way as fast as I can. That is the most humiliating game in the last 10 years I've been involved with. How can we get picked off at first base? How can you do that? The f*** is that about? What do you think you're with here? This isn't about some game. This is about our lives. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? You don't have a choice. When I tell you to take, you take. Don't tell me you don't see it. You look. You understand? I don't give a Like I said, 15 minutes from now, you don't give a You walk out of here. I gotta live with this embarrassing you guys. We got beat at every single part of this. Everything. Everything. Infield play. Two-out hitting. Everything. Totally stupid. I'm sorry. I apologize. I have totally let you down.
Was that a Rick James situation of
a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do this to me? I'm sorry I did this to you. What?
I just love it that he ran out of gas toward the end.
He clearly
like
got tired.
the last 60 seconds, he's like, "Oh man, I'm really tired."
This isn't about some gosh darn game. This is about lives.
I love it that he said, "You're going to forget about this in 15 minutes, but I'm going to remember this for the rest of my bleeping life."
Do you get it? Do you get it?
I was talking to Christian. Why are, not all crazy people are coaches, but all coaches are crazy people. There's a crazy person deep down inside with all coaches.
Yeah, and if you're not, you don't make it.
That was Coach Tim Lacombe yelling at Salazar after the show.
Yeah. I
heard it today.
No question about it.
Just screaming at him.
Lighting him up. And deserve it, probably. But it's part of what makes Coach. Yeah, insane. And these are funny now because you said 20 years ago. And
That was 20 years ago.
What is this going to be, black and white? It's like, no, this was filmed on somebody's iPhone. Yeah, this is great picture.
This is how old I am. I feel old every day. I remember when we played that on the air when it happened.
Oh, okay, live when it happened.
When it happened, I remember the next day, we're like, "You got to check out this rant, dude. Epic." That was 20 years ago.
20 years. Shout out Augie Garrido.
You did it better than me. Mike Folta joins us next. Let's talk some hockey. Oh, I bet there's
good
some
audio vault today. I hadn't heard that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I heard that.
If this was a fist fight or a gang fight, we would be dead.
That was the same coach, by the way. We would be dead. If this were West Side Story, we would be dead. Because that's naturally what comes to mind when I hear the words gang fight.
Yeah.
The Jets and the Sharks. A lot of snapping.
Tough gangs.
Stay tuned. Mike Folta joins us next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is live at 5, which is brought to you by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call 1-855-TRAJAN-1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Of course, the biggest story of the day today, the Mammoth, the Golden Knights, game number 5 from Vegas tonight. Joining us now, of course, he is the voice of the Utah Mammoth. You'll be able to hear his call starting at 8 o'clock right here on the KSL Sports Zone. He's our buddy Mike Folta, who we're told is currently walking to the arena. What's up, Mike?
I am a pilgrim wandering in the desert right now.
What are you walking by right now? I love Vegas. Where are you walking by right now?
I'm in the Aria, which is close to where we're staying, and I'm looking at a $15 craps table that's calling my name, boys.
Right.
What I would give to rattle the bones right now, but it's a business trip. I'm wearing all black. I stand out like a sore thumb. I look a little bit like a missionary, but I'm ready to go. And the Mammoth are too in Game 5.
Yeah, so they go back to Vegas 2-2, had a chance to jump out to a 3-1 lead, lose in overtime, battle back from down 3-0 a game with so many storylines. What did you take away from the homestand that leads into Game 5?
Well, I think, talking about Game 4 specifically, the Mammoth got out to another bad start, which has to be rectified over the next few games here. But the ability to come back in that game to score 4 straight and get to a point where you have a chance to win the game. Like, guys, I was getting the joke book ready in Game 4. When it was 3-0, I was getting ready to start shifting gears and try and, entertain fans another way outside of calling the action because the action wasn't going so well. But the Mammoth turned on the Jets, scored 4 straight, and I think that creates some belief with this group where, no, you don't want to get out to another bad start, but now, should you fall behind or find yourself in a tense situation, you know that you have what it takes to overcome any deficit in the series against a good Vegas team. And Vegas feels the same way. They are a team that likes to come back in games. They like to come back in series. They won 3 straight against the Minnesota Wild last year to come back from a 2-1 deficit in that series. So Vegas is a confident team, and now I think the Mammoth are dipping into that confidence as well after the big comeback.
Can you diagnose the slow starts for us? Either something the Mammoth are doing, or is it truly what the Golden Knights are bringing to the ice?
It's more about Vegas than it is about Utah. But what we see typically is that Vegas has a hard time maintaining that intensity over the course of 3 periods. And hockey games are 60 minutes, and we haven't seen Vegas dominate a game for a full 60 minutes yet. Really, neither side has. Even in Game 2, the best game for the Mammoth so far, Vegas still had their moments, and they came out hot and heavy to start that game. So that's kind of what I'm talking about with coming back in games. It's all about how you weather storms and react to the ebbs and flows of a game, because in the playoffs, guys, these teams are too good where you're not going to have everything you want for a full 60 minutes or a full 79 minutes like we had the other night in Game 4 with overtime. So how can this young Mammoth team kind of handle the ups and downs and survive when Vegas is pushing, and then push your chips in toward the table, if you will, and cash in when you have the momentum?
You never stop making adjustments. And, we saw Tortorella moving Dorofeev up to the top line, and that obviously was very successful. That first line and second line played much better. But I do imagine the longer we go on in this series, we're just going to see 2 teams that they know each other. They know what each other are trying to accomplish, and it's just going to come down to who can win on the ice. Am I wrong about that in hockey, or does this chess match continue?
It's going to continue. And what was interesting about Dorofeev was, yes, that move paid off for John Tortorella right away, but we didn't see Pavel Dorofeev hardly at all in the third period for Vegas. So Utah had kind of neutralized that line after they scored early, and Pavel Dorofeev led the Golden Knights in goals during the regular season, and he's been really quiet for most of this series. So, every time I ask Bear about matchups and how he wants to handle this Vegas line or that Vegas line, I don't want to say he shakes it off, but it's something that he can't give you a clean answer on until they're in the heat of battle, as you guys are saying. And hockey's such a fluid sport. We've heard from assistant coach Mario Duhamel, he handles the defenseman. He'll ride the hot hand. So when John Marino is having himself a heck of a game, he's going to throw John Marino out there more often, as opposed to rolling lines, 1, 2, 3 over and over again. He'll ride the hot hand with the defenseman. They'll do the same with the forwards. It's not like you have set lines that never change throughout the game. Kind of like football. You got a running back that has the hot hand. You're not going to take him off the field. You're going to keep him out there because he's feeling it, and the last thing you want to do is miss out on a big play because he's on the bench.
Do the Mammoth need more out of their power play?
Well, I think 1 for 9 so far in this series. They do. Yeah, they do. I think guys, they need to create more. I think they need to create more power plays as well. We keep talking about how fast of a team Utah is. One thing that speed should do for you is it should draw penalties. You should be able to draw a lot of these restraining penalties, like a hook or a trip, or an instance where Vegas, they're using their sticks to slow the Mammoth down. You should be able to draw those penalties. And so far, to only have 9 power plays through 4 games, I'd like to see Utah, use that foot speed with the puck to create some more of those infractions. Now, is that officiating? I don't really think so. I think it's more so the Mammoth using that speed with the puck on their stick to force a slower Vegas team to take a penalty and then let that power play go to work. And guys, your power play has your best players on it. Those guys need to feel the puck. It's kind of like a basketball, right? Where you want the ball in your best player's hands. When they're not getting the ball, they can get a little cold. Same thing with the power play. You want them feeling the puck and snapping it around.
Any prediction on what you think the change will be for J.J. Peterka? Do we see him again? Is he on a different line? What would you expect a change could possibly be?
Yeah, it looked like he was I just opened the door for a guy with some golf clubs here. God, that'd be nice. And I thought about bringing a stick down, but like I said, business trip. With JJ, look, here's the thing. I tweeted this out earlier. He was on 2 of the 3 most productive lines for the Utah Mammoth during the regular season. He played with Cooley and Gunther. They scored a ton of goals in October. He played with Keller and Schmaltz, and that kind of helped stabilize the Mammoth in December when the team was really struggling. He didn't have a great game the other night in Game 4. He basically got benched in the third period. I don't think he had a shift from the halfway mark of the third on throughout overtime and the rest of the game. And head coach Andre Tourney has been really positive about JJ, saying he had a good conversation with him earlier at morning skate. He's a guy where he doesn't need a lot to score. He has an electric shot, and he's got a ton of skill and a ton of speed, too. And even though it hasn't been a great series for him so far production-wise, he can pop off in an instant, and that's why I'm still bullish on him. It'll be interesting for him on the fourth line. That's not a line that has produced a lot of offense for Utah in this series so far, but he's going to be playing with Kevin Stenlund, who's a very responsible two-way centerman. He's going to be playing with Brandon Tanev, another forward who has a ton of speed and will hit anything wearing gold tonight. And so it'll be interesting to see if JJ can kind of take advantage of playing with those two guys, one who's very responsible and does a lot of the little things, the other who is basically a wrecking ball and will just scare people off the puck because of his speed and his physicality. So it'll be interesting tonight. He's going to have to step up his game if he wants to make an impact in this series. But like I said, he's a guy that if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile.
Have we seen either team play their best hockey yet?
You know, elevate in a sense. Like it's neither side feels great, neither side feels terrible because it's been really even. This has been one of the most evenly played series so far, and Vegas entered the postseason as the hottest team in the National Hockey League. Remember, they changed coaches with 8 games left in the regular season. John Tortorella took over, and the Mammoths actually in the playoffs were the first team to beat the Tortorella-led Golden Knights in regulation. They did so in Game 2 in this building. So Vegas enters feeling really good about themselves. I think the Mammoths have defended better than people give them credit for. When you look at pucks getting towards the middle of the ice in those dangerous areas, Utah and Vegas were both 2 of the best teams in the regular season at preventing those pucks from, coming right in front of your net, right in front of Karel Vejmelka. And the Mammoths have been pretty good about that throughout most of the series as well. So it's been a closely contested series. Would expect another close game here tonight. And as Andre Tourney has said a lot throughout the year, if both teams play their best, it's going to be a 1-goal game in the third. And that's basically what we've had almost every game this series. So I think there's not enough separating these teams for one side to pull away. We'll see if that continues to be the case. But it's been a ton of fun to cover. And you have 2 contrasting styles. One team that runs more of an air raid, one team that runs more of a, Naval Academy style offense. But that means it's an interesting game.
Mike, I think the stat that came out on the broadcast in the last game was something like the Mammoth's average goal distance is over 30 feet. And, you look at what Vegas does, and so much of their scoring is done right at the net or getting a deflection right in front of the net. Is that sustainable, trying to beat Carter Hart from distance? Because it does seem like it's been working.
Yeah, I don't think that's where you want to be taking your shots from. But I do think goaltending has to be mentioned as one of the storylines in this series. And I think it's where Utah has a slight advantage so far. I mean, look, the shots that are beating Veggie aren't coming from distance, right? The shots that are beating Veggie are rebounds. They are guys who are alone in front of the net once or twice. Hasn't happened a lot, but it happened last game. They're tips, they're redirections. They're not shots that you expect a goaltender to save consistently. You look at the tying goal in the third period that Michael Carcone scored on a one-timer. Carter Hart had no screen in front of him. The shot was from the top of the face-off circle, so from a far ways away. And Carcone, who's a good shooter, but nonetheless, it's a distance and a location where you'd expect an NHL goaltender to make a save there, and Carter Hart didn't make a save. I think the Mammoths have a bit of a goaltending edge in this series. One thing I will say is with the way Vegas plays, it can wear down your goaltender. because Vegas possesses the puck in the offensive zone and they control the puck. A lot of times it's on the perimeter, but as a goalie, you still have to be ready whenever that puck is in your zone. So that can wear a goalie down over the course of a game. I haven't asked Carell about this, but I think Karel Vejmelka might have been a little bit worn down towards the end of overtime in Game 4. And you saw when he was trying to push off to get back into position on the overtime winning goal by Shea Theodore, he didn't have a lot of strength left in that right leg to push back into position. So you got to take that into account, even though I think the Mammoth have the goaltending advantage in this series. The way Vegas plays can wear down Veggie.
Looking at a couple of other matchups in the playoffs real quick, Mike, we saw Boston stay alive down 3-1, and then potentially the Mammoth's next opponent with either Edmonton or Anaheim. We saw Edmonton stay alive down 3-1. Ben and I are really familiar, obviously, with NBA playoff series and how hard it is to come back from 3-1 in the NBA. In the NHL, how hard is it to rattle off 3 wins in a row in a series?
That? No, thank you. No, thanks. No, I'm sure. All right. Yep. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I was getting propositioned here.
You're very popular, Mike.
Towards T-Mobile Arena. Sorry.
How hard is it in a playoff series? How hard is it to win 3 in a row?
I was about to be handed something that, I shouldn't describe. How hard is it to win 3 in a row? Well, Vegas did it last year to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So they won 3 in a row. I think it's really hard, especially when teams are this tight, like what we're seeing now. I think for Utah or for Vegas to win 3 in a row, there would have to be a blowout somewhere in there where the Mammoths just don't show up. And we haven't seen that yet. I have no indication that would happen. I have a hard time imagining they win 3 one-goal games in a row. But, again, they did it last year. Right. A couple of the first games between Vegas and Minnesota were blowouts in the series last year in that first round. And then I think they won 3 overtime games in a row. So here I am saying I don't see it happening. Well, Vegas did it a year ago. It's hard to do that in a row. What's the old adage in the NFL? It's hard to beat a team 3 times. It's the same thing in the National Hockey League. And Andre Charania always does such a good job of keeping this team in the present. If I ask Bear what day is it, he's going to say game day. Like he doesn't look forward, he doesn't look back. And so I think that allows Utah to obviously stay in the moment, but to give the opposition their best look night in and night out and not allow momentum to creep into the equation.
Hey, Mike, we certainly appreciate having you on as always, and we'll be excited to listen to things tonight. Calling playoff hockey's got to be awesome.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I'm dodging the clappers here here on the strip and making my way in. Again, I look like a missionary with my black suit and white shirt, but that means a couple of them will kind of take the hint and stay away. It's going to be a ton of fun. Already seeing a ton of Mountain Blue here walking around, so I think it's going to be a great environment.
You rock, Mike. Thank you so much.
Mike. Thanks, guys.
There you go. That's Mike Folta, radio voice of the Utah Mammoth. Again, puck drops at 8. Pregame begins at 7. The last few times I've been on the strip, I haven't seen those people handing out the
cards.
The
vouchers.
I thought that was
vouchers,
over.
But ads.
I thought like phones or something had
replaced
that, but apparently not. You know what I did once? I actually collected as many of those as I could and then stood and handed them out just to see what it was like.
What'd you think?
It was funny.
Potential lifestyle for you?
It made me laugh.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Tough biz.
Well, there's no way they make like a livable wage, right?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
No, of course not.
That'd have to be a side gig. What do you do for a living? Well, I'm a teacher during the day, but in the evening I go hand out adult material down on the strip.
I was in Vegas for my friend's 21st birthday, and he was like the oldest of the friend group. He held his hand out for one, and the guy told him no because he looked too young.
Not for you, kid.
Oh, well, how responsible is that guy?
He's got like a baby face, yeah.
This man cares about the community.
Way to go. Killing it.
That dirtbag's really taking care of the world.
Hey, everybody's got standards.
You get it, and you get to make a living. Whatever you got to do, you get to make a living.
You can have your moral standards, even if you're handing out adult material on the Las Vegas Strip. You've got a line. I like that guy's line. Don't hand it to kids. Mm-hmm. You bet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, don't hand it to kids.
And if Christian's adult friend looks like a kid, well, better safe than sorry.
Agreed.
You know what your friend should do, though? Go to the Guess Your Age thing at Lagoon. That's the easiest win. If you've got a baby face, that's the easiest win at the park.
Yeah.
They have to get it within like 2 years or
Take
so.
Logan Cooley.
I was once, did I tell you I went to Lagoon on my 30th birthday, and I wore a shirt that said 30 and still frisky. And it was like a frisky cat food shirt, which is pretty funny. I went up to the Guess Your Age guy, and I said, all right, guess my age. And he looked at me and he goes, 25. I said, no. 30. Pointed at my shirt.
You know what? The shirt's probably a good throw off because they think that you think they think that you think that they're an idiot and they're just going to read the number on your shirt. So they're going to say, I know he's not the age on his shirt. So I'm going to guess a different number, but you go in smart and you wear the actual number because they're not going to guess the actual number because they don't think you're that dumb.
If a person who was obviously sensitive about their weight came up to, because you could do guess your age, weight, or there's another one, birthday. So if they came up and it's somebody
Guess your birthday?
Yeah, they have to get it with like, a couple months or something.
Oh, okay, like 4 months either direction.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a lot easier.
No, not guess. Like, oh, you picked July 4th. It's actually July 6th. I'm very sorry.
I was going to say, geez.
No, that's
kind of a mentalist is there, knows your birthday.
But would you way undershoot it just to be nice?
Wait?
Like, like, I'll give you this silly stuffed animal. I just don't want to be mean, like humiliate you in public.
Higher.
Oh, you'd go north?
230. 128. Oh. You wear it well.
Let me tell you about this place called the Heart Attack Cafe down in Vegas. You're going to love it. You eat free down there.
Yeah.
Did they really move it up to 400 pounds? Is that a thing, Christian?
I think that's what I had heard. I have not fact-checked it.
The percentage of the population that is 350 and above now is too vast that they had to bump it up 50 pounds? Okay.
It still says 350 as I Google it.
All right, good. What a concept for a restaurant. I've honestly never eaten there.
I've only seen the videos go viral. I've only ever seen that was the thing because people will sit on the other side of the street and record people walking on the scale.
No, people have literally died there and they market it.
This guy's dead.
This guy had a heart attack. That's the point.
It's in the name.
That's the idea. Doesn't it say on the website caters to the morbidly obese? Or the lifestyle of such or something like that?
Well, okay.
Like that?
Oh, man, I love Vegas. Stay tuned. More Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben. Want to remind you to join Scotty G and the coach coming up on Thursday. That'd be tomorrow from 10 to 2 at Tim Daly Mazda and Sandy, 10785 South Auto Mall Drive. Thanks to Mike Folta for jumping on with us in the last segment. Ben, we've hit on a number of big stories today. The possible tanking rules in the NBA. We've talked a lot of Mammoth hockey. And we've talked about the NCAA Tournament official. Well, I guess, is it official or is it imminent?
It's going to be official shortly.
Of the NCAA tournament going from 68 teams to 76. So adding 8 more teams. So
in addition to the 4 teams that they've already added in.
8 teams that they've already added in. But no, 4, you're right. Yeah. So they're going to have 8 more teams on top of that.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, I don't know if anybody thinks that this is a good idea. I think the most positive anybody on this is a net negative. Mm-hmm. Have you seen anybody out there going, this is a great idea?
Wow, thank you. This finally happened. No, I've not seen that.
Well, Seth Greenberg, who I really dislike as an analyst and a coach, apparently, and I haven't heard this yet, but he was defending it or at very least chastising people that don't like it. Can we listen to that real quick? By the way, Seth, ESPN college basketball analyst Seth Greenberg. Here it is.
For those of you losing your mind that the NCAA tournament expanded from 68 to 76, get over yourselves. When you have these mega conferences and you're playing 20-game schedules, and you know what? You might be 8 and 12, but those 8 games that you won, 5 of them might be teams that are in the top 25. And then at a conference, the way things are right now, you're seeing more good games at a conference. You might have 2 wins against top 25 teams. All of a sudden, you have 7 wins against top 25 teams. You got 7 wins against teams that are going to advance in the NCAA tournament. And yeah, your record might not be great. It might be 18-12, or it might be 17-13. But you're a team that can win games in the NCAA tournament. And more importantly, you expanded 8 more teams. I've been in my house with my players that won 10, 11 ACC games, 7, 6, 5 games against the field, and didn't get in. And how about the mid-majors? The expansion is going to potentially give the Atlantic 10 a better opportunity, the Mountain West a better opportunity, the Missouri Valley a better opportunity to get multiple teams in the tournament. So adding 8 teams, please just get over yourself. College basketball in the NCAA tournament will be just fine. And by the way, look at the non-conference games that are being played right now, because people aren't afraid to potentially take a loss because they know that it will help their body of work. So NCAA tournament's in great hands, and 76 will have no impact on the regular season, nor will have an impact negatively on the NCAA tournament.
So it will have an impact, was this whole thing, until the end where you go, it's not going to have an impact. You're not even going to notice. By the way, I remember those Virginia Tech teams you're talking about, Seth.
Mm-hmm.
They sucked. Mm-hmm. And you sucked as a coach, and you didn't deserve to go. And of course, coaches love this because why, Ben? Because that they can parade around a victory for an average year if you get into the NCAA tournament.
You can't fire me.
What do you want? What are you talking about? I got into the tournament. And these spots are going to go to those exact programs. Those programs that aren't very good, that the coach is on the border. Because think, Ben, and we talked about this earlier in the show, those extra 8 slots are going to the 8th, 9th, 10th best teams in the Big Ten. Those are the coaches that are on the borderline of being fired. So they're going to have crappy teams, still get into the NCAA tournament, and go to their bosses and go, I'm killing it. What are you talking about? I'm doing awesome. So, of course, mediocre to bozo coaches like Seth Greenberg, I'm sure love it.
You're exactly right. He said something like, you should be happy if for the mid-majors, because this potentially, carrying a lot of weight in the word potentially, could mean more opportunities for the Missouri Valley and the Mountain West Conference.
Nope.
To your point, which is exactly right, when the Mountain West Conference is only a one-bid league team, the second-place team who doesn't make the tournament doesn't fire their coach. They had a good year.
Uh-huh.
The tournament committee just screwed them and didn't take the second team.
San Diego State didn't fire their coach.
You don't need to fire the second-place coach in the Mountain West Conference because you didn't make the tournament in a one-bid league. It didn't mean you had a bad year. It means the tournament's not interested in you. But you're an absolute moron if you think that they're going to go in and include the second-place Mountain West Conference team now, because the problem is the diluted nature of what the tournament has already become. Yes, makes the 7th-place SEC team that does get into the tournament look identical to the 10th-place SEC team that does not. And this is the Auburn situation last year, where Auburn didn't get in, and Bruce Pearl was crying about his son's team not getting in the tournament, and Little Pearl was crying about not getting in the tournament.
Little Pearl.
But they're the same team as the 7th-place team that did make it in. So, no, they're not going to go to the Mountain West Conference and say, let's get you in.
Let's get San Diego State in.
Or whatever it is every year. They're going to go to the team that says, well, man, look at how identical Auburn's resume is.
They had 4 conference wins. Are you kidding?
They went 4-19 in a good conference.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. They had a win over South Carolina.
And then the other thing I hate that Seth Greenberg said there, because he made up a rule of what should be applied when going to the tournament. He said, we're leaving out teams that could win games in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, there's a ton of parity in college basketball. That's not ever been the rule of why you make it. Could you potentially win a game once you get there? That's not the criteria for making the tournament or not.
It is not.
It has nothing to do with, do we think you could win a game or not there? No, it's, how was your season? What did you do in the regular season?
Did you earn it?
Did you earn it? And now they're trying to loosen that up, yes, to get exactly the people who are on the borderline of getting fired, because you're exactly right. The 10th place SEC coach gets fired. The 2nd place Mountain West Conference coach does not. So, stupid. It is bad for the sport. It does just thin it out more, and it's only designed to empower the power conferences more, which, look, predominantly, when we're talking about college teams locally, with all due respect to Utah State, who's probably been the best basketball program in the state for the last 10 years on average, Utah and BYU get a lot of love. So I don't think this is us, doing a show from Boise trying to pretend that, the Mountain West Conference deserves more love and we're just, homers on that front. BYU and Utah are both in a major, major basketball conference, and BYU has really benefited from it. But this is only about giving more to the conferences that already have everything. That's all it's about, and it's going to make the Cinderella aspect of the tournament, which I do like, and I think a lot of people like, go away. Because at the end of the tournament, when we get down to the Elite Eight or the Final Four, we like seeing UConn, we like seeing Duke, we like seeing Florida, we like seeing Texas, we like seeing UCLA, the biggest schools having more opportunities to advance and making it harder for the little ones. It's that simple.
Yeah, but average coaches like Seth get to keep their job.
But they do. They get another year of a $7 million contract.
By the way, Seth, you passed on Steph Curry. Nobody should listen to a word you have to say ever. Hey, Seth, we've got this Steph Curry, Dell's son. The only good player to ever go to Virginia Tech. Yeah, his kid can really shoot.
I don't know if he's good enough.
I'm going to pass.
We don't have a spot on my team.
We're way too good go into the NIT to give Dell Curry's son a crack at it. No thanks.
Seth's going to rally against it.
But
hopefully Nickeil Alexander-Walker never has any kids.
But Steph has a younger brother named Seth who also can actually really shoot it.
Can't use him.
Pass.
Don't need him.
Hard pass.
What legacy?
Yeah, have Nickeil Alexander-Walker ever had a kid who has the potential to be the best basketball player on the planet? I'm sure Seth Greenberg would pass on him too.
By the way, shout out Nickeil Alexander-Walker. One of the more enjoyable people who came through Utah, was really dealing with a lot of emotional issues here and trying to figure out who he is and how to be comfortable in the NBA and shedding the label of being a bust. Just won Most Improved Player award. Really a genuinely enjoyable person. Good for him.
I've told you this. I would never want to win Most Improved Player.
Yeah, it's a backhanded award. Yeah.
Total backhanded award.
Yeah.
Wow, you were really crappy. And now you're kind of good.
Yeah.
So
the less disappointing award.
We should rename it.
You're less disappointing than you used to be.
Congratulations. Stay tuned. More coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got it made Jake's and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Hey, it's Noah. I'm calling for Jake and Ben. I'm an absorber of the show from the future, and I have solved the tanking crisis. So hear me out. The picks 1 through 3 are in their own lottery, and those picks go to the 2 teams that lose in the conference finals, and then the team that loses in the finals. So that way, those teams are probably, 1 pick away, 1 piece away from being able to truly contend for the championship. Give it to them. If they don't want it, they can trade out of it, whatever. 33% odds for those 3 teams. That's their own little lottery. The rest of the lottery, picks 4 through 14, or whatever it ends up being, that's just all the teams that don't make the playoffs or even the play-in, like those bottom 10 teams. I think the only way to solve tanking is to truly incentivize winning, and then it puts pressure on your front office, if you're not winning, to be able to make good picks and make good trades to be consistently competing. But
all right, there you go. That's Noah with the call-in KSL Sports app. You hit the call-in feature and you can send it in. All right. It's probably better than what Adam Silver's come up with.
Yeah, the rich would get richer, but the way to fix this, if you want to do it that way, is yes, you could get the number 1 pick there or the number 2 or number 3 pick. You're all getting very good players, but their contracts have to be $30 million each. Because then the good teams who are paying high salaries actually can't afford to keep them and have to make some decisions on, do you keep that young player and trade your veteran who's, maybe ready to win now, or do you trade that young player and get a bunch of other assets? But, if you want to incentivize winning, the simplest way to do it is to incentivize winning. And that's what Adam Silver says he wants, but I'm very skeptical this is going to work.
Ben, real quick here. I've got a non-sports related story, but I've got a controversial take on this. A guy named Damari Jaquan Patterson from Florida, and I know you like good Florida stories.
Love it.
He was working at a Taco Bell, and two people came in to the restaurant and went to the counter to get a cup of water. Then one of the customers was given the cup. She filled it at the soda fountain, according to people who... So do you know what Damari Patterson's response was?
I hope he raised hell.
Well, he shot at him. He fired a gun at the three customers, actually. As the verbal argument continued, a third customer walked into the restaurant. The argument escalated, and Patterson yelled at the two customers, do something, do something, do something, according to a witness's cell phone footage per affidavit. I actually, Ben, am totally fine with this guy shooting at these people.
No, you're not. You are not.
Hey, that is a Bush League move. Pay for the beverage.
Correct.
You know what?
I
If
agree
you
with
get
you.
the water cup and you try to sneak the Sprite in it, you deserve whatever you get.
Well, first of all, we know they were drinking Baja Blast. We know that's what they were doing because that's the only reason people go to Taco Bell is to get them out and do Baja Blast. So,
But if you're putting a blue something liquid into the water cup, then that's even more dumb.
how would we describe Baja Blast? It's like a turquoise, like a jade color
I don't know.
almost.
I don't drink it. But if you
Oh, we
if
gotta
you
go
put
get you some.
if you put anything but clear as you're trying to pull this caper,
Yeah.
then you deserve to get shot at.
Correct. If you go with an obvious and affront to the clear cup.
Can you imagine the insult? This person comes in, gets a cup, walks right to the soda machine, and fills it up with something.
Well, clearly.
I would have shot him too.
Nobody died.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
Unfortunately.
thankfully. Shout out to the guy who's like, I better bring my gun to work.
Guy's
at the
only
Taco
20.
Bell.
Let me tell you what. I don't know what area of Florida this happened.
I'm looking at it now, West Palm Beach.
Perfectly fine with it. Now, Damari is getting charged with aggravated assault with a firearm.
Yeah,
so
attempted murder.
he's going to be going away for a while. But I would like to be his defense attorney here. I think I could. What do they call that when you argue that it was deserved even though he broke the law? What is that
Justifiable?
called? No. It's you're nullifying the jury.
Okay.
I feel like I could nullify the jury by saying, yeah, he did it. But this person took the water cup over the soda thing.
You've been there before.
He deserved it. Or he deserved to do it.
I haven't had Taco Bell in some time.
Well, don't mess around with the...
Yeah, I wonder if, do you think Taco Bell CEOs could be like, we're giving this man a $10 million defense.
Oh,
We're
they're paying
losing
for his defense for sure.
tons of money every year in soda sales.
Right.
From the clear cuppers.
They secretly love this guy.
Yeah, they do.
Stay tuned. 6 o'clock hours coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrap it up with Jake Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben coming right up around the corner. Utah Hockey Night. Adrian Denny is going to have the pregame show for you. Mike Folta is going to have all the action for the Golden Knights and the Mammoth starting at 8 o'clock.
Well, I hate to sound obvious, but a totally different feel than if Mammoth were up 3-1 going into this game, hoping to close out Vegas tonight. And again, not a must-win, but you certainly feel the pressure. I'll be curious how they respond because they did not play particularly well, obviously, in Game 4, especially over the first, 30 minutes of the game, and they bounced back and had that great 10-minute run. So, yeah, I think tonight going to be really fascinating to see how they bounce back. And then, obviously, the Peterka news. What happens there? What does that look like with him moving down to the fourth line?
I mean, he's not going to play very much.
Yeah, he's not going to play a whole lot, but if you can take advantage of, maybe a weaker line that you're playing against, maybe you can have some success. And they could certainly use some help down their lines because the top two, I know second line didn't play particularly well in Game 4, but was really good in the first few games. So we'll see how they bounce back.
Well, and it was Vegas' fourth line that beat the Mammoth in Game 1.
Yes, it was. So, yeah, if you can even that up, I mean, you can see the differences in some of those areas. We've talked about can the Mammoth get their entire roster playing well at the same time, which we have not seen a whole lot of in this series. We talked to Mike Folta earlier today, and he mentioned how difficult that is to kind of see that illustration throughout. And get a look at how this team plays tonight.
Coming up next, Adrian Denny has pregame for you. Mike Folta with all the action starting at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. We will talk to you tomorrow on the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.